And this is why I'm a firm believer in pushing through discouragement. When something is a little bit difficult, when you have to, reset and try again, it is a giant life lesson that you understand that sometimes you have to breathe, take a step back, restart your internet connection, because your computer likes to do this in times of stress. I understand that this happens, right? I've had this computer for over a year now, going on 2. I know that this happens. This thing likes to drop internet connection at the worst of times. To avoid that, before, what did I do? I used to restart my computer before every stream. Why I don't do that now, I don't know. I think I got kind of cocky with the internet link cable. I think that was it, right? I got extremely cocky with the internet link cable. And my slow self understands now that you really have to restart that bitch. Like, why would you not do that? Because I don't have the internet antenna anymore? Okay, cool. Why are you not restarting your computer beforehand? You used to do it before when you were on the shitty Wi-Fi, but because now that you're next to the router, you think you're hot shit. No, buddy. Click that restart button. What the fuck are you doing? Excuse me? You know what you have to do. I don't like that I got comfortable. Oh, is that not a sign? Is that not like some not foreshadowing, but I got comfortable with, oh, my internet connection's good. No, because when I used to stream before, I used to make sure everything was good. Sometimes I wouldn't even have YouTube up. If you guys remember, during my old streams, I wouldn't even have YouTube up. Seriously, that would be the only thing that was open, was YouTube. Remember when I discovered that I could go on Facebook and stream at the same time? Y'all remember how hyped I got with that? I was like, oh shit, we can scroll and stream? This is crazy. Like when I opened up Chrome or opened up Edge you guys remember that? I got so excited. Why would I not think that now I should still be restarting? With my computer having much less space than before because of how many videos I edit. I have to clean this thing out. I have so many little clips and pieces of footage for the project that I have going. Also, if you wanted to know, or if you wondered where the daily uploads have been with me sitting down and doing the talking and stuff, I have an upload coming tomorrow. These streams are going to be the real MVPs of the content while I work on this project. Is it a long project? No, but it is very attention heavy. It's like super attention heavy, and I'm proud of it. But I'm going to get back to, I promise you guys, I'm going to get back to the daily uploads of just me sitting down and talking, and those are coming back. But I have to finish this project first, because believe it or not, I wrote this idea the day that I quit my dishwashing job. Like the day I quit my dishwashing job, I wrote this project out, basically word for word how most of you saw it previewed. I wrote this project out, and I didn't know if it was a manic idea. I didn't know if I could even finish it in the place where I was living. But god damn it, did it come to life. I lost the original script, and I just had like a loose basing, I guess you could say. I don't know, a treatment of it, or like a loose script. I don't know what you'd want to call that. But there wasn't any dialogue in it. There was just talk about this, talk about this, other side talks about this. I still have to do some, like, also I tried to not, okay, I didn't try to use AI. I didn't use AI, but there was an option on my editing program. This is why I'm never going to use AI editing, because it said correct audio, and there was a giant like piece of audio that I ended up correcting better myself. But this program said we can correct the audio, make it sound clearer, raise the lows and lower the highs. Okay, great. Let's see if it works. Because is that not another video? I used AI for editing for the first time. Here's how it went. That's so I'm thinking of the content. I'm thinking that's gonna make a good video in the future. It took 30 minutes to scan like 10-15 seconds of audio. Terrible. It made it sound muddier. It made it sound worse than what it did in the first place. So no, I don't ever want to use AI for editing. I don't want to do that. I tried. I literally tried and it sucked. Like, it's just not for me. It's not. I've come to that understanding that me and AI don't mix. And I'm glad we don't. I'm glad it's not an incorporated piece to my life. Maybe it's heard me talk shit about it for years. Like maybe it's heard me just say negative things about it for years. Oh well, I'm not a fan of robot assistants when it comes to the thing that I've been doing for who knows how long. I know how long, 20 years. But I don't want assistance when it comes to that. I just don't. It's not a thing that I'm happy to have going. But it would have made for a good video, no? It would have made for a good video. I used AI for the first time here. I was looking forward to that. I was planning out the little script for it and everything. No. Unfortunately, no. Not unfortunately, but fortunately, no. That's not a thing that I'm ever going to have to think about happening. But where are we here? I want to get straight into this video. I'd like to, at least, because this is what I wanted to react to. No, why is there double audio? I don't like double audio. I don't like audios doing too much. Here we are. This is the video that I wanted to react to. This is longer than my usual ones, but if you guys need something to listen to while you head to sleep, you're about to listen to True Crime Pine. I said you're going to listen to what? You're going to listen to True Crime Pine. Not exactly someone you guys are used to hearing, I would assume, but and I try not to. Well, I'm not trying to. I in a case like this, I wouldn't want to compile everything myself because there's far too much for just a one stream situation. This is not my niche, you know, it's not. But thank God, True Crime Pine, isn't that a good one? Great night. Isn't that a fire one? True Crime Pine, come on, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, we all good. Okay, you usually don't hear me talk about stuff like this. First of all, I got it. Y'all thought I wasn't gonna cook this nigga. Look at him. Look at him. Nigga look like he touched kids. Come on, bro. You thought I wasn't gonna cook a pedophile? This is what this whole channel is based on. I'm gonna tell you red flags I see in this nigga right now. I swear to God, there's so many red flags you can see in this motherfucker's face right now, right? If you thought I wasn't gonna go like this on this case, you're slow. Listen, bro. I swear to God. First of all, why do you have just the middle of your head up? This is a very feminine hairstyle, and that's coming from a nigga who wears women's shirts. Look at him, bro. Too much wrist jewelry. This Hot Topic 2013 shit right here. Nigga, what are you doing? Looking like Leslie Jones. No, dead ass, but not as good looking and not as like picturesque. All of this is a red flag, and this isn't me on some y'all should have seen the signs. But as a black man, you don't trust niggas that look like this. He had no black friends. Clearly, he had no black friends because one of them would have bullied this out of him. Not the pedophile shit. He'd been a pedophile for the rest of his life. But this shit, all this weird emo, look at me, I'm so sad and depressed. They would have bullied the shit out of him. Nigga, you grew up in a house bigger than most people's, like bigger, like, yeah. You grew up on a home and property bigger than most, like, I don't know, independent stores. I don't know how to say this. Like, he grew up in a big ass home, right? Homeschooled kid. That's another thing. Why the fuck? Actually, the reason why he got homeschooled and kicked out of his public school was not revealed, but enough clues were put together. This nigga did some sick shit and got kicked out of school. At that point, we blame the parents. See, it's so much easier for me to make the roasts when he's in front of me. All right, the red flags. He has no facial hair. He has no facial hair. As a man, if you have no facial hair, like none, if you try and get, and once again, this is coming from a rather not masculine man, right? If you have no facial hair, none, nothing, you're trying to look younger, you're a predator. Not saying that every man with no facial hair is a predator, but usually I've never really seen someone trying to look way younger and they didn't have this same tactic. All of this is shaved off. That is something that has been talked about forever. If a nigga has no facial hair, he's trying to leave as little DNA behind as possible. I'm not playing with you. Look that shit up. If a grown-ass man has no facial hair, no nothing around here, that's a major issue. I will admit though, this nigga's face skin is crazy smooth. You know he was getting like not skin peels, but he was getting the waxes, and Interscope was taking care of him. Cause at like, what was he? He was 20, probably about 20 in this video and image, probably like maybe about 20, 19. At 19 or 20, you don't really know how to shave. You know what I'm saying? Like really think about this. You don't really know how to shave. He would be having bumps and cuts. Nah, bro was getting the waxes, the skin treatments. Am I crazy? I don't think so, right? Like, this isn't 19-year-old who just learned to shave. Maybe that's my eczema face talking. KV Gaming, welcome to Brothers Radio. I'm your host, Pineapple, your host, the most smoke. And today, I'm roasting David. I tried to dodge it as much as possible. I'm done with that. I'm done dodging cooking this nigga. It's so easy. Like, it's so easy. I've never cooked someone so easily. No, I'm used to cooking pedophiles on this channel. That's kind of what we do. I don't know why I dodged this topic. Like, we don't roast pedophiles on here for fun. This is what this channel is based on. Why am I running from this? Why would I try and run from this? I was trying to tiptoe around the case and be sensitive. I'm going to be sensitive to the case, but sensitive to this nigga? Absolutely not. He's getting the flames. He's getting the flames.
On March 28, 2026, David Anthony Burke spent his 21st birthday in a mansion that his management team had been renting for him.
Look at this skin, bro. The hair, the skin, the jacket. This screams, I just got signed. This screams, I just got signed.
In the Hollywood Hills. This may possibly be David's last birthday celebrated in the free world.
Rapaholics? Yo, Rapaholics is one of the best, like, culture breakdown channels. I love it. Honestly, this case is probably one of the craziest modern homicide cases I've come across. This shit was fucked. This is, I don't want to, all right, this is going to sound, I'm not trying to sound insensitive at all. Please don't think I am. But this court case, not his actions, the court case itself, please listen to what I'm saying. Please, to the love of God, listen to what I'm saying. This court case itself, not his actions, are possibly one of, like, this is like the court case of the century. This is our monumental, like, once in a lifetime case. This is huge in the eyes of the American justice system. Never in the world have we seen a a music star on trial for something like this. This has not happened. This is a rarity in itself. The fact that this is being tried in the American eye, in the eyes of the media in America, he's not getting pushed to some other country. This happened right here in the good old USA. This is our generation's OJ. I've been saying that since I heard about this guy. I swear to Christ, this is our generation's OJ Simpson. The evidence is damning. The media is on the edge of their seats. Everybody has a theory. This is going to go down in the history books as one of the greatest cases on earth. When I say greatest cases, please, I did not say he's gonna go down as one of the biggest monsters in America in world history. But the case itself, there's so much evidence against him, stacked against him, and he's going to trial. He's going to trial. This is going to like break history, because someone who was making millions of dollars was found with a child in their car trunk that they are now being like shown evidence of driving around. When does the trial happen? I have no clue. We're gonna find that out. We are. But you gotta like, anyone who doesn't see that this is a monumental situation is just going through the motions. This will, I don't know, this is gonna like set a new standard for demented. Because remember, OJ Simpson was like the evilest person on earth. Remember? Let's really look back at history. No celebrity had done like enough shit to be put in the public eye like this. And the fact that there was so much evidence against him on the internet, all the sleuths, all the theories, everything, and then couple it with the fact that he was online looking at the stories. His media team has been trying to cover this up since all the evidence dropped. We really have to. This, as someone who loves to sit and study certain cases that catch their eye, this is, I wouldn't go that far, definitely a spectacle. The only way for it to be truly monumental is if he beats the case. What? You don't think that this much, you don't, okay. You know what? If he truly monumental, if he beats the case, it's already monumental. You don't think so? A spectacle? You're dropping it at a spectacle? Oh, there's no way he could possibly beat this case. There's so much. Listen, I think when people heard this for the first time, right? I think we all believed that he was like this mastermind. Like, well, maybe it was just me. I'm thinking, yeah, he's so smart. He almost got away with it. There was no chance he could have gotten away with this. There was literally no shot that he could have gotten away with this. There was no chance that could have happened. Internet basically solved everything before it reached court. The internet didn't even, like, okay, the internet solved a decent amount. It put the evidence together, but we did not know how much evidence there would be. There's so much more that hasn't come out. The amount of evidence that the internet has found based on his social medias and shit, that's stuff that he put out. There was so much more that he didn't. There was so much more that the investigators had to find, because the internet will only know so much. The internet knew a lot, right? But the police know more. That's one thing I will never lie about. The police know way more than the public on everything. Everything. Any court case you've ever seen go to trial, the things that the media sees at first, that's like 10% of it. During his trial, I will be covering his trial live. That shit's gonna be amazing. I want to watch this man fry in front of my eyes. This case makes me like super angry because you made music about molesting a child. He made music about molesting a child. You made music about it. I pray to God they use some of his lyrics, some of his artwork. I know you can't use art in court. They do. I don't know where people got that from, but they use people's lyrics and art against them all the time. Please don't believe that. For the love of God, don't believe that. Yeah, he did that record. Exactly, Butter Nugget. Thank you. He made music that is directly related to him touching a kid. I'm laughing because of how ridiculous this man is. I'm not laughing at any of his actions towards Celeste Rivas Hernandez. That is not what I'm saying. I'm laughing about him as a person. They did on Boondocks. Dr. Manchester Toboggan. Welcome to Brookhouse Radio. I'm your host, Pineapple, your host, Most Smoke. And today, we're laughing about how much of a fucking loser this nigga David was. He was an actual loser, bro. Like, real life loser ass nigga. Just millions of dollars. You can't unlame a nigga. You can't do it. You can't unlame a nigga with millions of dollars, bro. He was still lame as fuck.
Because on April 16th, 2026, David was arrested.
Look at this bitch ass nigga, bro. Look at this bitch ass nigga, son. He needed to get bullied more. He didn't get bullied enough. That's the problem. That's the problem. Like, some people have to get bullied. Some people have to get the shit kicked out of him. He didn't get that enough. He clearly should have.
Arrested at that same residence and charged with the murder of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. If he's found guilty, David faces decades in prison, if not the death penalty.
There was an evil version of myself that would kind of come out at random moments. He would commit the crimes that I would have to solve as the detective. I'd be like solving murders that I'm committing myself.
Trap Lord Ross got in trouble on here for bullying him. He did not bully him. He got in trouble because he posted the raw text messages between him and Celeste. Had nothing to do with bullying. Trap Lord Ross got he got his video taken down because he posted raw text messages, which I don't know why on earth he thought he could do. But nah, it wasn't for bullying. It was definitely for posting text messages that had to do with abuse of a child. I don't know why bro thought that was a good idea.
Myself.
That I'm committing myself.
Right now, David's pleading not guilty, but with his preliminary hearing on July 21st, 2026, with prosecutors claiming they have 40 terabytes worth of evidence against David, with the death penalty still on the table, it'll be up to the judge to...
Let's remember that the death penalty is on the table because it was murder with special circumstance. This was murder for financial gain or furtherment of a career. Furthering of a career, not furtherment, furthering of a career. The fact that she said, I'm going to expose you, and then he killed her, that was sealant right there. If he had done it maybe a day beforehand, if he had done it randomly when they were hanging out, he would not be facing the death penalty because there would be no, oh, I have to do this to save my career. It would just be he did it. The justice system is interesting. It usually kind of fucks people, but in this situation, I've never wanted to see a black man fry before. I've never wanted to see a famous black man fry. And I know that, like, there was so much defense on the internet for him, and I had to stop following a lot of creators because what do you mean, well, she lied about her age? That was a little kid. That was a child. And the more pictures that come out of her when they met and when they were hanging out, that was a kid. That was a child. This nigga was a flat out pet. Like there's so many. Oh, he was this age and she. Listen. If you're 17 trying to talk to an 11-year-old, nigga, die still. Like, die. Is she 11? That girl can't even spell like most words. And then you're 19 and she's 30. Hang them. Rope, trees, horses. Not to mention the number of times she had to delete fetus. I think it was up to three times at the age of 14.
To review the evidence and determine if there's sufficient probable cause for the first-degree murder and related charges to proceed to a full jury trial against David. Do prosecutors have the evidence they need to lock David up for life and bring justice to Celeste's family? Will David end up taking a plea and getting out of jail a lot sooner than the world thought?
No. The fact that he entered a not guilty plea, he's gonna take this to trial. I'm willing to bet he's so conceited that he's willing to take this to trial, even though his legal team is dog shit. His legal team is the worst I've seen on any celebrity case in a minute. Do you know what his one lawyer said? You have the location of his phone, but do you know if he was inside the house or outside the house? Okay, yeah, you tracked his location and her location in the same, in the same vicinity on the same night. But how do you know he wasn't inside playing video games and someone else got to her first? Are you implying that he had help? Are you implying that he had help? Ma'am, excuse me. And I have to laugh about this shit. I have to laugh about his legal defense because what did you just say? And then what was it? There was so much DNA under the seat of the under the flap of the trunk. You know what I'm talking about? The cover of the trunk and on the back seat. They said it's like they're almost 100% certain that it's blood. You know what the lawyer said? What if it was sweat and she just picked him up, or it was sweat and he picked her up from the gym? What? I'm sorry. What? Okay. All right. You know what? Do your damn job, bitch. If you want to take this to trial and waste that nigga's money, you know good and well what's about to happen. Or she hurt herself. Yeah, what if she sliced her hand open and then they tried to it was self-defense from an 11-year-old girl. I'm sorry, from a 14-year-old girl. She weighed like 90 pounds. He's a little bitch ass nigga, but she weighed like 90 pounds. You flick someone like that. You push them slightly and they fall back and but you dismembered a child and there's a self-defense claim? When I talk about grasping at straws, this is worse than that. This is so much worse than grasping at straws. This is like hugging crumbs. Self-defense doesn't mean you go Dexter on him. Thank you, Dr. Mantis Toboggan. We missed you in chat because self-defense doesn't mean you chop somebody up. That's not how this goes. That's not how this happens. That's like when someone says, oh, it was self-defense. They walked past my house and I shot them 17 times. That's the equivalent of what I'm hearing. Or it was self-defense. I invited them in for food. They tripped and we got into an argument and I shot them 17 times. Okay, you know what? Just pick a cell. Just pick a cell, all right? because my internet was fucked up, I don't think I'm gonna get off here for a little bit. All right, you guys got me for a little bit, okay? You guys got me for a little bit. My kid's not gonna wake up until maybe like 10 something. So y'all got me until y'all don't, okay? Y'all got me till I don't. Remember to tip your creator, okay? I like to afford rent and food.
What new evidence has emerged since the last time we've spoken about the David case? The answer is a lot, and we're gonna unpack it all, starting from the day that David was taken away.
Tonight, dramatic video captured by TMZ showing the tense moments LAPD officers arrested singer David on suspicion of murdering a teenage girl who had been found dead.
She lied about her age. That looks like a 7th grade field trip photo.
In the trunk of his car.
If you try to run or if you try to resist, you will get hit while not being doing. It's gonna hurt. I got you.
In footage obtained by the California Post, officers in tactical gear are seen walking him in handcuffs yesterday on the streets of the Hollywood Hills.
Look, it's gonna obscure my view from the gate. It's good. All right, so the gate is locked. Do I open the gate? Open the gate.
He's so casual about it. He's so casual, like this. You open a gate? Bro, you're under arrest for the murder of a child. Do you open the gate? Yes.
Now, before we dive into what prosecutors...
Fake glasses. That was another thing. You're a grown man wearing fake glasses. Because let's never forget, this is a grown man. No matter how much facial hair he tries to take off, no matter how high pitched his voice goes. Actually, he can't even fucking sing for real. He just hit it on TikTok. No matter how many stupid, I was going to say the G word, lame ass bracelets he has, he's still a grown man. Because his image in the media was this clean shaven, trying to appear younger and attach himself to the youth. I wonder why.
And the world knows about not only David's relationship with Celeste, but also...
He tripping. All the money he could have got him, an older woman, mature woman, want to feel taken care of. Okay, but he was a pedophile still. Like, it doesn't matter how much money he had or who he was. He wanted a kid. He was 17 talking to an 11-year-old. He wanted a kid. Like, that's the whole kicker about pedophiles. No matter what they do, no matter how much money they have, they still want a kid. That's the whole fucked part. No matter what they.
Also, why
I want to say this was bound to happen, but him abusing a child was bound to happen. Like, this isn't the first one. If you've been looking at the case long enough, there's been some other people mentioned in this case. This is not the first person who would, this is the first person chopped up, but this isn't the first person he abused. There was someone else on this case. Yeah.
they believe David actually had the intention and carried out the murder and mutilation of Celeste, we first gotta understand a key roadblock in this case that may actually work in David's favor, and that is the condition that authorities actually found Celeste's body in. It was completely dismembered in 2 separate plastic bags in that front trunk. Because of that, Celeste's cause of death may end up being the centerpiece of the trial.
They already tried the overdose claim. There was no chance of that. This is not an older video, but this is like a couple days old. I refuse to watch the new one with the text messages because, first of all, that's like demented shit. That's like beyond demented shit. I'm not about to sit here and read the text messages between an actual file and his victim. I'm not doing that. I'm not having. Did I have someone else read them to me on video? Yes, one time. I'm not doing it again.
Without a clear cause of death, without knowing if it was a homicide, an accidental overdose, it becomes a weapon that David's defense can use against prosecutors. How can they prove he was the one behind this if they don't even know how she died to begin with? Well,
Let's not look at the evidence on his hand when he went live streaming after the day after the murder. There was a giant bruise in the middle of his hand that he got tattooed over to make it look normal. Bro thought that he really got away with this. He thought that at some point this was all gonna blow over. This is what happens when, cause you're born, haven't seen the text messages, didn't want to add to my brain of useless internet knowledge. It's not useless internet knowledge. It's disturbing useless internet knowledge. It's not useless. It's disturbing internet knowledge. All of those things, because it paints a picture. The text messages paint a picture of a grown man tricking on a child. A grown man tricking on a child. Abusing, misguiding, like all of that shit. But he was dropping bags on a kid. He said that he said that he booked a hotel he booked a room at the Trump Hotel. You know what she said? How much your dumbass pay for it? She was cooking him. It wasn't like she was just like allowing him to talk to her. However, she was bitching him. I mean, look at him. He looks easy to bitch. If I'm being honest, like I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. She was 100% a victim. She was a child, but she wasn't letting him talk to her. However, no, she was running his pockets. He's a bitch. He said, I'll just buy another Birkin for you. You're buying Birkin bags for a 13-year-old kid? This nigga was getting his pockets ran by children. That's not fucking funny. Like, that's not funny. Bro was getting his accounts tapped by middle schoolers. Like, her friends was getting broke off. He was sending like, nah, dude. Like, not only are you a grooming pedophile, but you were tricking on a child. That's not funny. That itself is objectively humorous. That in itself, the fact that this man, like, he had that little personality for real, as to where he just embodied a hot topic and said, look, I'm a millionaire. Look, I'm not a creepy pedophile. I'm a millionaire, see? Nigga had a mission to kidnap her called Operation Awesome. Like, nigga had a mission to kidnap her called Operation Awesome. Lock him up. Lock him up and please just miraculously just burn the prison down. Can we do that? Is that a thing that we can do in America? Just things go up in flames? Oopsie.
We would quickly start getting some answers. Prosecutors say that David actually murdered Celeste on April 23rd, 2025, but had ended up mutilating her body on May 5th. She was then left in that Tesla under his name for 4 more months until September. LAPD would do a conference where they said that David is not just charged with first-degree murder, but also with mutilating a body and lewd and lascivious acts with a child under the age of 14. He's also charged with interfering with an active investigation, trying to
because she was a witness to him doing this to other children.
Protect his career and hide from the charges he would have initially faced with, which was that he was having S relations with a minor under the age of 14.
Today, I am announcing the charges against David Anthony Burke in connection with the brutal and horrific.
I'm sorry. She was yes. She's a witness to in her own case. I apologize. There were other people on the case. I got confused on the case, but in the paperwork. I'm sorry. I got momentarily confused there.
Murder of Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time. There are 3 sets of charges that have been brought. The first-degree murder with special circumstances, and again.
Oh, 2 audios. Don't like that. Sorry. Don't like that. My bad. Oopsies. Oopsies. Whoopsie daisies.
Those special circumstances are lying in wait. That Celeste went to
Whoopsie
Mr.
daisies.
Burke's home on the night of April 23rd, 2025, as a
This cop right here is like, ain't no motherfucking way. Y'all should have told me it was 2 audios. What the hell? He's in disbelief. Like, who gave this Negro this much money? Who gave this Negro this much money? That's the only thing that this cop right here is thinking. Like, fuck. A millionaire? For real? Looks like one of them hoodlums.
alleged in the complaint at his invitation, and again, was not heard from again. The second is a special circumstance being that this murder was committed for financial gain.
Bro has no
As the
clue.
evidence will show in court, the financial gain was for Mr. Burke to maintain his very lucrative musical
There
career
we go. Sorry.
that Celeste was threatening on that particular night. The third charge, in addition to lying in wait and for financial gain, is murdering a
Put myself in the
witness
corner.
to
There we
the
go.
investigation.
Reframe,
In this particular case,
reframe.
as the evidence will come out in court, the witness to the investigation was Celeste, and the investigation was into the lewd and lascivious sexual acts committed by Mr. Burke that is the subject of count 2 of this complaint with Celeste while she was under 14 years.
Now, David would show up to court on Monday, April 20th, and maintain his innocence, pleading not guilty to the charges against him. His legal team would also claim that they received no evidence, no discovery that prosecutors have thus far collected, no autopsy reports, no information that David could use to defend himself in.
I mean, there's not much he can use to defend himself. I feel as if the prosecution knows that, and they were going through all the evidence and just probably looking and thinking, you don't need any of this. You know what you did, sir. Even though you have to have motion of discovery, you have to have your discovery, all the evidence and everything. But there was so much. 11 air fresheners. Is that not just a testament to how immature he is? Is that not just a testament as to? I'm trying to think. Is that not just a testament as to how slow he is? That proves my point. This is not some sort of mastermind as Reddit and the internet tried to make it out to seem. This is an idiot pedophile who thought that air fresheners. This is how closed off he was mentally. Please, let's ponder that. Anybody with television or internet access knows that there is no such thing as covering the stench of a dead body. Period, point blank. Rotting flesh is the most distinct smell that a human being can recognize. Like your brain gets like hit by that. There are certain things that you can't just like look over or glaze over as a human being. To rotting flesh is one of them. And for you to think 11 air fresheners is going to what? No. The smell of flesh stays. The smell of bodily like excretion, or what's it called, rigor mortis and stuff, that stays. There are live streams where his homies were saying, "What's that smell? What's that smell?" He's like, "Oh, I just shit in the bathroom." You think that idiot, you think that you can say, "I just shit in the bathroom," and that's gonna, it's a survival mechanism. Exactly, Butter Nugget. But someone with very few brain cells thinks that they can just cover it up with air freshener. I couldn't even get rid of old man smell in my place with air fresheners. You can't do anything that has to do with scents of this nature with air fresheners, but someone would think so if they were, mentally not all there, or a child in the head. Once again, not shooting this man bail. I just have to look at why someone would be that dumb to think that air fresheners would solve this situation. But we will find out as we go further and further. He thought a lot of simple things would solve this, and they didn't.
In court.
Calling People versus David Anthony Burke. Good afternoon, Mr. Burke.
Deputy District Attorney Beth Silverman for the people, Your Honor.
Thank you. I request you're requesting a preliminary hearing within the period.
Yes, Your Honor. From the media reports, apparently there have been 4 months of secret grand jury proceedings. We believe that Mr. Burke is entitled at the earliest opportunity to an open preliminary hearing.
I laugh at this because his legal team thought, hey man, y'all been interviewing people behind our backs. What's up with that? She just said she wants a preliminary hearing, saying that she wants evidence presented to see if he would have to stand trial or if this can be handled, with a plea, or if he can. She thought that was a good idea. She thought that presenting this much evidence was a smart decision. They didn't even show everything because, as she just described, they've been having grand jury proceedings behind, closed doors. People have been interviewed. They have witness statements. Have you guys heard any witness statements? No. You know why? They're saving them for trial. This is why I say this is going to be a monumental court case. The evidence that the internet thinks they have and the evidence that the internet does have, including the cover-ups that are happening, let's talk about those soon, okay? Because this whole Celeste parents knew, and because a neighbor statement came out saying, or it was a fake statement, but a neighbor statement came out saying, well, I was outside when Celeste brought David home for the first time. Yeah, you just so happened to be outside when she brought him home for the first time. You wouldn't have known who the fuck he was. He just like some weird black guy. In reality, the cover-ups that are happening by his team, that's what makes this as monumental as I'm talking about. That's what makes this so damning in my mind. Not only is this happening, but his team is frantically trying to make it seem like he didn't do something that bad. Interscope Records is employing people to try and make it seem like this pedophile was not that bad of a pedophile. Are we serious? There has never been anything like this.
Hearing and the proceedings not be done in secret, so we are asking for a preliminary hearing to be set at the earliest possible date.
She's like, listen, bro, I'm trying to get this over with. I want my check. He's clearly guilty. Please, I want to take a vacation.
On the 10th day, we believe the actual evidence will show David Burke did not murder Celeste Rivas Hernandez, nor was he the cause of her death. And we would like...
Yeah. She looked up at the judge like, you heard her. Damn it. Look at this.
Rivas Hernandez, nor was he the cause of her death.
Yeah.
And we would like to be able to have the evidence come into the light of day.
We dead ass right now? That's the route we're taking. You know she was expecting a guilty plea. They talked about a guilty plea behind the scenes, and this is the first time that she's like, wait, hold on. If he didn't kill her, then they should be obligated to prove who did. Exactly. If he didn't, with all this evidence in his crib, you niggas have to find who did, right? Like, y'all better be bringing people in for cross-examining. No, if he didn't do it, with all this evidence, then who did? That's like how you have to talk to a child. Okay, if you didn't break the thing that's only in your room that you were in for the past 3 hours, and I heard something break, and then you were on the other side of the room, then who did? Who broke it? It was you? Okay, now you're on punishment. Death penalty. Death penalty. That's David's punishment, buddy. That is so funny. Oh my god.
At the earliest opportunity in order to establish that. We're asking for April 23rd as a 3 of 10, Your Honor.
We'll be very happy to put on the evidence that we've collected in this case over the last several months.
Slam dunk. Oh, you saw that little head shake? Nah, bro. The courtroom is a giant, like, mental game. They are quite literally scared in a corner. Like, they're scared. This is like picture perfect, man.
Celeste Rivas Hernandez, nor was he the cause of her death. And we would like to be able to have the evidence come into the light of day at the earliest opportunity in order to establish
shaky ass voice.
We're asking for April 23rd as a 3 of 10, Your Honor.
She doesn't even sound confident.
We'll be very happy.
Look at the head shake. Look at this.
To put on the evidence that we've collected in this case over the last several months.
Plea of not guilty has been entered on behalf of Mr. Burke. The matter is ordered assigned to Judge Charlene Almeida.
Yes, Your Honor. If I may just put on the record, we have, as soon as the people arrived, delivered a informal discovery request consistent with Penal Code Section 1054. We have been given almost no discovery thus far. We've received a 3-page follow-up report, no autopsy report, and a copy of the complaint. And we would ask the people respectfully to produce discovery at the earliest opportunity.
Now, the prosecutor would claim that there were over 40 terabytes of evidence in this case, and some of it has already been released, which we'll break down shortly in this video.
There's approximately 40 terabytes of discovery in this case. Moreover, in order to obtain the transcripts from a grand jury investigation.
That's like 1,000 movies. That's like 1,000 movies. 40 terabytes? That number sounds like scarier every time you hear it. That means that they ripped so much shit. I love this shit, dude. I love that. Stacy, send away. I love this shit. This is probably like watching someone fry in court. I told you I love interrogations. I love to watch charges get like pressed and pursued. This is my shit. To watch someone stand there and go, I didn't do it, when all the evidence points against them. Holy shit, Call of Duty's only like 159 gigs. Yeah. 40 terabytes. Yes. Yes.
Counsel has to file a motion. She knows the
I
way
also
the
heard
system
that his
works.
mother may have
I'm
known of
not
their
able-
relationship. Yeah. The parental involvement is kind of scary on his part. They had gone to visit his family before. Yes, his family's involvement is very scary. Her family's involvement in this entire situation has been exaggerated for media. Her family's involvement has been exaggerated for media. I will take no Rivas Hernandez slander on this channel. Absolutely none. I will not accept any slander of her family on this channel. Her family did everything they could to make sure their child stopped running away. But how are you going to stop your small child from getting manipulated? Okay, pause. How are you also going to stop your small child from getting manipulated by a millionaire? Nigga had 6+ figures at his disposal. Regular predators can manipulate kids. Imagine one who goes, look, I know you're poor as fuck. Huh? I have no personality, but I have hundreds of thousands of dollars to play with every day, huh? You think that stereotype of kids wanting candy and shit is true? Imagine a kid getting waived so much money that they've never seen in their entire life. But people want me to believe that her parents didn't try and protect their kid. Come on. I'm just never going to hop on that train of blaming the parent. I'm just never going to do that. Not in this case. Not in this case. I'm not doing that. Some cases, you can blame the parent, for sure. Like, why wouldn't you watch your fucking kid? She had to sleep in the same room as her mom so she wouldn't sneak out. That is literally the last measure that you can take. Her mother was sacrificing her own privacy to make sure her kid did not sneak out in the middle of the night. You gotta be fucking kidding me, talking about her parents didn't care. Her parents signed off. What? You're out of it. You can blame David's parents. Oh yeah, all of these behaviors should have been beat out of him. All of these behaviors should have been beat out of him. That's one kid where you should have absolutely been beating his ass with a belt across the face. I don't believe in hitting kids. I really don't. But that nigga should have been chained up in a basement. Yup, that's the pinnacle of grounded. There is no, it doesn't get worse than that. It doesn't get, in a kid's eyes, you literally have to sleep in the same room as your parents, so you can't even go to the bathroom by yourself. Like, no. So his parents, they should have been investigated from the beginning. His brother should have been investigated from the beginning. But her parents are trying their best as to what they can do in this country, being their immigrant status and whatnot, because that was always called into play and shit. Yo, don't even get me started, son. It's just a smear campaign against her family. This entire case has become a smear campaign against her fucking parents. Essentially, it's not even really on the internet. It's not even really about David anymore. Essentially, they're just saying that why weren't her parents doing something? Excuse me, she was chopped up as a child, and you expect her parents to magically know where she was? They took her phone away and he gave her a new one. Bro was trying to like ostracize her from her mom and dad. No, David definitely has a brother. He tried to make music as soon as his brother went to jail. Oh yeah, this case has so many layers. This case has a wild amount, like an onion.
Gather those. They have to be provided after the court orders them released because it was an investigation. Second of all, if counsel plans on going to a preliminary hearing within the 10 days, it is unlikely that there will be very much discovery provided within that period, given the voluminous nature and how long it's going to take to copy onto drives. In addition to that, the coroner's report was sealed in this case in order to prevent it from hampering truthful testimony from witnesses that testified at the grand jury, so an order will also have to be obtained in order to get the coroner's department, which is now the medical examiner's department, to release those materials.
It's surprising news given that the district attorney's office held a press conference this morning where they discussed the cause of death, apparently under seal and not released by the coroner's office, as did the robbery homicide unit to the press. So we would again reiterate, we believe that Mr. Burke is entitled to discovery. We have served the people with notice. They have 15 days to produce discovery in this case. We would ask that they do that in conscientious earnestness and as quickly as possible.
Bill to stand at no bail. Thank you.
So as you can see, David made his...
Bail said no bail. Yo. His legal team couldn't have thought that he, like, was gonna get bail, right? Like, that had to have been, like, a last-ditch effort. You're a millionaire. And a child was found chopped up in the front of your car. This is what I mean. Like, this is the, like, with this much evidence pointed against you, your best bet is to write a letter to the judge, say, please don't kill me, and plea out. Plea out as soon as possible, okay? Take that 50 years plus no chance of parole. I'm sorry, 50 years to life plus no chance of parole, and try to live. That would have been the smartest thing to do, right? No, he's so conceited. He's so up his own ass. He's like, nah, we got this, guys. We got this, guys. Yo.
His first appearance in court in late April. And many people were questioning why it took so long for prosecutors to actually formally charge David. Celeste's remains were discovered inside the front trunk of David's Tesla in September of 2025, yet David wasn't arrested until April 2026, 7 months later, and nearly a year after prosecutors alleged that Celeste's life was taken. But throughout that time period, prosecutors appear to have been building their case.
That's exactly why it took them, what was it, 7 months? Feds don't come with nothing. Was he federally charged? Yeah, he's federally charged. No. The LI was... Nah. Was he federally charged? No, he's in LA County right now. He's not federally charged. No, right? Yeah, he wasn't federally charged yet. Okay. Commence Operation Totally Rad. Shut the fuck up. It was basically that.
Reportedly presenting evidence and testimony to grand juries on 7 separate occasions.
I'm only laughing and there's only a smile on my face because this is such an open and shut case. All right, this is a horrific occurrence, but the fact that this is going to court is actually comedy to me. That is the underlying hilarious part of this, okay? The fact that this is going to court, that this will have to be on trial, is truly just like, to watch this man have to fry in public, that is so damn funny. Like that it I don't think there will be anything that is more like the fact that this is the I don't know I'm trying to say this without sounding terrible. You mutilated a kid and you think that you're gonna get like let off on it. I hope America laughs collectively at this. I hope that we all find truly the humor in this, because people are trying to tiptoe around this shit. No, laugh. This man on trial is hilarious.
That evidence is now being revealed publicly at the preliminary hearing. We'll take a look at all of it, but it's important to understand prosecutors don't have to prove that David is guilty just yet. They only need to show the judge that there is enough evidence for the case to proceed to trial.
And as we found out a couple days ago, there was enough evidence to proceed in trial. There was. He will have to stand for this. He will have to see his day in court. He can't plea out. Oh, I'm sorry. He's not gonna plea out. He didn't. He could have. Right? A guilty plea? He didn't. He's pleading not guilty.
David has pleaded not guilty, and his lawyers can now question witnesses and challenge the prosecution's claims. We'll break down all the evidence that's been presented so far, and first let's understand the prosecution's overall goal with...
You're not going to bully him? You're not going to mess with him just a little bit?
Been presented so far?
Look at this fucking stupid ass chain he has on. You can tell he never hung around black people. He never hung around his own kind, bro. Like, look at him. That's a type of person who never hung around their own kind, who thinks that they're white. And when I say that, that's not me saying anything against white people, but this man clearly thought that he was not a Negro. Mario Judah is blacker than him. Mario Judah is blacker than no one except David. You're correct. Mario Judah is one step above David in blackness. That's very true, Butternugget. That's 100% to the bone. Absolutely. You can you could just look at how unnatural he looks trying to put on a rap studio persona. You see what I'm saying? I didn't want to say that and end up sounding rude. No, Simone, you're 100% correct. He's not black. He has the same skin tone as a black person, but this is someone that has no racial identity. No racial identity. It's a weird phenomenon, right? when he's playing black art. Exactly. He's putting on like this facade of, hey, look, we're in the studio, guys. Look, I'm one of the niggas. I can tell he talks like that. It's like the part in RoboCop where the guy said, you didn't think you were a real cop, did you? You didn't think you were really black, did you? And if you notice, right, he's a millionaire in Hollywood. Who do you usually hang around when you're a millionaire in Hollywood? Who do you usually hang around when you're an artist? Who do you hang around? You hang around the rappers. You hang around the rap entourage niggas, because in Hollywood, there's rap entourage niggas who just hang around rappers. We all see the same people around rappers, right? Follow me. We all see the same people around rappers. Those are who you put yourself around. When you have a lot of money in the music industry and you look like me, look like him, you put yourself around the same people. I'm not saying you have to. That's just what happens. Who was he hanging around? Lame streamer niggas. Random IG bitches. Random, never seen black culture in their life IG bitches. Do you see what I'm saying? He separated himself from his own culture because he knew we would all call him a fucking weirdo. We all knew that, he knew that we would all shun him. No, he didn't hang around black people. He didn't. Worked for Diddy, kinda. You're not wrong. Diddy was definitely one of those people that when you had money, you were just around him. Like, it's fucked, but it's the truth. Diddy was one of them hang around niggas. He just so happened to be richer than all the people he hung around. But he was one of them hang around niggas. When you're in that circle of money, which he was not a broke bitch. David was not a broke ass nigga. That wasn't how that worked. He had money. He had money. I will always press that. And anytime I talk about it, he had bread. So why was he not hanging around the I got bread niggas? You tell me. Why was he not hanging around the other niggas that had money? Because they all would have sniffed him out easy. They all would have seen him hanging around an actual kid and be like, what the fuck are you doing? You can't imagine hearing rapper beats up star David because he was found with a child. You can't hear that as a headline. Singer beat up after being found out as a pedophile. He would have got set up very quickly. Very quickly. He would have got robbed. He would have got his shit ran in. Niggas would have found out where he lived and went right up in that house. I promise you. There's a reason that he didn't hang around people who look like him. There's a fucking reason.
Let's understand the prosecution's overall goal with this preliminary hearing.
He doesn't have any sort of like, no flow about him, no juice. Look at this. Look at this. He's like, I am a rapper, guys. Look, no, it doesn't work like that.
And the prosecution's overall goal with this preliminary hearing.
Good afternoon. My name is Nathan Hockman. I'm the Los Angeles County District Attorney. Today starts the day of the preliminary hearing of David Anthony Burke, the singer David, spelled D4VD. This preliminary hearing will last approximately 3 to 5 days, at which point we will be seeking to hold David to answer for 3 felony counts of which he has been charged. First-degree murder with special circumstances, the count of lewd and lascivious acts with a 13-year-old, and the count of mutilation of human remains. David,
those 3 charges, or those 3 counts, all lined up, are just horrifying. Murder with special circumstances, right underneath lewd and lascivious acts with someone under the age of 14, right underneath, like underneath the mutilation of a body. If that doesn't scream, you did something awful, you did it to someone who's a kid, and then you chopped them up. They layered it like that on purpose. For good reason. This is not any sort of entrapment shit. No. He needs to be chained. He needs to be in shackles in a hard work camp before they give him the lethal injection.
David will be facing a maximum punishment of life without the possibility of parole. or he is also death penalty eligible. The decision on whether or not to seek the death penalty has not been made at this point. The point of
Death penalty, you say? Death penalty, you say? California's about to put a nigga to death? They don't do that. If California wants to give you the death penalty, bro, you might have to answer for that. You really might have to have that conversation. Like, California wants to end your shit? California wants to end your shit? Ooh. You pissed off a lot of people if Cali wants to kill you, bro. Cali lets people walk free all the time. Oh, wait. You chopped up a kid. I forgot. Whoa, buddy. Yeah, maybe Cali needs to kill you.
Of a preliminary hearing is somewhat different than you actually perceive in the media, whether it's TV or the movies. Because what often happens in TV or the movies is you go from an immediate arrest into a trial.
That's because it's a movie. I hope people don't really think that it just happens that fast. Like trials, not trials, but people's court cases can like last years. People can be locked up before trial for a long time. Can't play the race card with this one. No, there is no possible way. No, there is no. I'm just a black man and they got me. No, there is no race card. There is nothing that he can. No. I thank God for that, because when I saw the picture on the news, I'm like, oh, they're trying to frame a black man. See, in my mind, I was cutting him so much slack. Like, oh, they're trying to frame a black man. He probably sold the car. What? That's not his whip no more. He's not even black. He's not black. He has no racial identity. He just is. He's just a person that has my skin type and just roamed the earth. He has no racial understanding. That is very clear. So no, there is no race card to play. That is the most white acting black person I've ever seen in my life. That is the most Discord, Tumblr, Hot Topic influenced brain I've ever seen. Gotta McLovin, fake ID. That's what I'm saying. We were all, to a degree, who would be as stupid as he is. Thank you. We all just wanted to believe that this isn't what it is, right? The media is just putting 10 on 2. They love to manipulate. They've been doing it forever. No, there's no manipulation here. The media is not manipulating a fucking thing. The media is not manipulating shit. Okay? The media is not manipulating a thing. The media was downplaying it. They're like, hey, they found a body in this guy's truck. You know, they don't even, like, and they said, well, it couldn't be him. He's on tour. So his excuse worked. His excuse worked. He wanted people to say, he's on tour. He couldn't have did it. He was in the hotel like, ha ha ha. My master plan has succeeded. Whole time, everyone's like, yeah, this nigga did it. Whole time, everyone on his tour is like, bro, you just got caught with a body in your truck. What are you doing? The vibes of it. And he literally had coffins at his shows. His shows were based around the fact that he just mutilated a child. Like, if they don't bring that up in court, nah. This is America, right? Bring that up in court. Bring it up. Bring up the fact that this nigga was bringing in coffins at his whole tour, which was based around the mutilation of a kid. Nancy Grace would go crazy on this. David Anthony Burke thought that he was just gonna have his way with a kid. Now the U.S. government's gonna have their way with him. That annoying voiced bitch would kill this case. What? She been on his ass? Nancy Grace been on her shit, Yeah! Yeah! She be wearing my blouse? Nah, Nancy Grace was that bitch when it came to news. She'd be a little misguided on shit sometimes, but if she wanted to cook you, she was gonna cook you. She was gonna cook you. I'd have been cool on 7-Eleven. I'd have been cool on Fox News, not Fox News, MSNBC. On them news shows, I'd have been good on one of them motherfuckers. I'd be talking hella shit on people. I could do that. I could do it. Man, put me on one of them motherfuckers. I'd do it. Well, how do you view this, Pineapple? Guilty! Fry that nigga! But we told you about saying that word on air. Sorry. Fry him! See, it doesn't sound the same. It doesn't sound the same, bro. Talking to the producers. I can't curse? Why not? Well, if this isn't national, I mean, this is national TV. I should be able to say what the fuck I want. Yeah, I'm fired the next day.
But in our system and in California in particular, you have an intermediate step. That intermediate step is a preliminary hearing where effectively the prosecution's evidence is going to be tested before a judge, not a jury. The standard that we have to meet is not beyond a reasonable doubt at the preliminary hearing stage. It is probable cause. We are not obligated, nor will we be presenting all the evidence at a preliminary hearing that we will be presenting at a trial to prove David beyond a reasonable doubt guilty of the 3 felony charges of which he has been charged. So at the preliminary hearing, we will call a number of officers. We estimate there will be over 10 different witnesses, both officer testimony, coroner testimony, and there will be individual witnesses as well. And again, we can rely on hearsay and other things that will.
I cannot get a guttural N-bomb like Mario Judah. I can't do that. You gotta really not like black people to say it like that. You gotta really not like how you look to say that shit. I'm not nah. That's wild. I can't do that one.
Be allowed to be relied on in an actual trial.
On CNN?
The judge at the end of the presentation of the evidence, and again, this is evidence that can be cross-examined by a defense attorney, and that process has already been begun. At the end of the presentation of all this evidence, the question will be, will David be held?
Fox News wouldn't do shit about it. They would bleep it and let it still happen. Fox News would not say shit about me. Fox News would not say shit about me doing that. They will let me, for sure. I'm black. They would absolutely let me say horrible things. Late ass bleep for like half a second. I could bleep shit better than them on spot.
To answer on the 3 felony charges. We believe we will more than accomplish the evidentiary burden of probable cause at this point to hold David to answer on these 3 felony charges. At that point, if the judge does hold him to answer, we will file an information that will detail the actual 3 criminal charges. Thereafter, there will be a trial date that will be set, and David, if he so chooses, will proceed to trial. And we will prove at that point, beyond a reasonable doubt, that David committed these 3 crimes.
That's the district attorney saying, hey, this might not happen as fast as you want. He literally is like, this is the best way to say this. He's coming out and telling everyone who said that this is taking too long. It's not gonna happen as fast as you want. But hear me out. We're gonna fry this motherfucker. Like, it won't happen tomorrow. It won't happen the next day. But I promise you, he's going down. That's the this is. I'm trying to think of an equivalent. I'm glad everyone basically agrees that this dude needs the chair. Will this unite the nation? I think so. I haven't really seen too many people like defend this entirely. Some people say, oh, he can get off, or, you know, it's like all the evidence isn't there. But no one's saying he didn't do it. There's too much evidence to say that he didn't do it. I think that this is this case is being used as an intelligence test. Like, who's really dumb? Who is really going to put their intelligence on the line to say that this man did not mutilate a child when there is years of evidence that is being backlogged? I think we're in the days of testing.
And when, we do not predict if, when he is convicted, we will then be seeking the sentence that we are allowed to seek by order of the law, and we will let.
I wonder what Leland thinks about this. Butternugget, you're 100% correct. I wonder what Leland thinks about this. It's going to be like, well, we need to see all the evidence. I don't really think he did it. I want Leland to come out with like a Free David video. Or even worse, I want him to come out and try and be like, well, this is some sick shit. I could never imagine this happen. Like, bro. We all know that you, yo, if he has a song called Free... If I was going to AI anything, I would AI a song by Leland called Free David. If I was ever going to use AI, it'd be that. It'd be that.
Let you know in a future date whether or not that sentence will also include the death penalty. I wanted to take this opportunity as we're starting this preliminary hearing process to explain where the preliminary hearing fits in the process so people can understand as we are presenting evidence and it is being cross-examined what ultimately the standard is for the judge to determine, and that's probable cause, not beyond a reasonable doubt. It is a judge that is doing this determination, not a jury at this point, and that there will subsequently be a trial when the judge holds David to answer on these 3 felony charges.
So far, we're on the 3rd day of the preliminary hearing. Let's start with day 1. Now, to understand the context behind the witnesses that were brought up to speak at the first day of David's preliminary hearing, we gotta understand the story that prosecutors were painting in the initial complaint against David. LAPD robbery homicide detectives determined that Celeste and David had actually met in January of 2022 when Celeste was just 11, and they were alleged to have
11. 2022. He was 17 years old, which is what the numbers are important. The numbers are important. She was in the 6th grade and he was a junior in high school, equivalent, because he was homeschooled, right? Don't get me started on homeschool kids. I never met one normal one. I never met one normal homeschool kid. If you were a normal homeschool kid, please let me know, because I was homeschooled for a year and I felt myself getting like antisocial and like strange. Not crazy, not out of my mind, but I definitely felt my mental issues getting worse. I felt more isolated. I felt like I wasn't understanding certain social things of people my age, and I was only homeschooled for a year, not even a full year, like 9 months. Imagine someone who's already twisted and fucked now getting isolated from society, now getting isolated from people their own age. That, once again, if you think I'm shooting them bail, you haven't been listening. This is just, yeah, my wife ain't normal, but it keeps the house spicy. I'm not saying that every homeschool person is crazy, but them motherfuckers definitely have certain social things that aren't there because they weren't around other kids. They weren't around other people their own age. Only homeschool kid I knew had a huge Jimmy Neutron head. Only saw him for state tests. Cool guy. I bet you he had a weird collection of stuff that you just had no idea about.
Begun a S relation in November of 2023 when Celeste was just 13. By February of 2024,
are we gonna ignore The fact that he waited till he got famous and then started to have a relation with this girl. Bro said, listen, I'm gonna get my money up. This nigga was a lame and a pedophile. Like, that just sealed it right there. He said, I'm not really gonna pursue her fully until I get a little bit of money in the account. You had to wait to get a record deal, to flex, to get a child. Why is no one bringing up that point? Buddy waited until he got the record deal money, and it was like, yeah, aha. Okay, all right, because that's not a point that needs to be discussed.
Before Celeste had went missing, and the sheriff department in Riverside County, Celeste's hometown, had actually contacted David when she first went missing because they found his number in a phone that belonged to Celeste. During that phone call,
straight to the playground flexing. He was in Texas, she was in Cali too. Bro listen, you know, when they said we have to meet with you in California, he said California. California. He went straight to the computer. I'm on my way. I just got the check. I swear to God, I'm about to spend so much money on you. Now, of course, a child is going to go for that. Why? Because she's a fucking kid. You are old enough to be in the military. You just signed a multi-million-dollar deal to get famous. And you... I bet he spent his first check like, I'm going to buy her this. We going to go straight to Legoland. Oh my God, I'm gonna be the best rich pedo ever. Like, when you never want to hear what's in someone's brain, right? Build-A-Bear, nigga said we about to tear down Build-A-Bear. Shit, we finna Claire's. I'm finna buy Claire's. Nigga mapped out a middle school shopping dream. Flexing them tokens at Chuck E. Cheese. Y'all get it. Nah, bro mapped out a whole like day out. Oh, bro. And the worst part was token spread. He had the tickets. He like these. Walking around with the tickets like these, with his shaved face at 19.
David had told authorities that he spoke to Celeste a couple days beforehand, but was unaware that she was an A minor or
I'm unk as hell. They still do tokens. I think they do cards. I don't know. My kid goes to Chuck E. Cheese with their mom, but I don't go because that's just kid gambling. I'm not doing that. But I think it's cards. I think it's cards. Maybe. I don't know. The joke still stands. We're old enough to all understand why that's funny. That's what matters. Okay, it doesn't matter what they do now. It matters that we all know why that's funny. That's what matters. Okay. But anybody who's ever done anything illegal, Dave and Buster's does cards. That nigga had the card spray. He said, yeah, charge it. But anybody who's ever done anything illegal in life, not this shit. This is inhumane. He needs to get caught. Anybody who's ever done anything illegal and you get caught, you know, I was never there. I was never there. What are you talking about? I was never there. What are you talking? What? No. No, I was never there. I don't know what you're talking about. Buddy said, she called a while ago, but I thought she was 18. He talked about having her yearbook photo, her 6th grade, it ended up being, I think it was a 6th grade, or 6th or 7th, don't even say it, 6th or 7th grade yearbook photo in his phone. So you admit to knowing the missing minor, you admit to having a very young looking picture of the missing minor, you admit that you have contact with the missing minor. He was the dumbest person who could have done this. Hey y'all, sorry for rolling in late. I overslept. DJ, we had 3 internet problems. I figured out why the gremlins come around, because I don't restart my internet before I start stream. I'm supposed to restart my internet and my computer before I start stream. I used to do it every single time. Sometimes I would have my computer off for 20 minutes before I started stream. And then I never had those gremlin problems, right? Look what happens when I don't do that. I have those gremlin problems. So now we figured out, just restart the computer. Since I restarted my computer, I haven't had one gremlin problem. It's been an hour and a half, no issues. No issues. So, DJ Hollow, welcome to Broke Guys Radio. I'm your host, Pint Up, your host, Mo Smoke. And today, we're going over the David case. And I finally found my footing when it comes to making fun, or not making fun of, but laughing in this case. Because we're not talking about the actions done by him, necessarily the mutilation of a child. We're not really focusing on that. We're focusing on how fucking stupid and lame this nigga is, how he has no racial identity, how he has major arrested development syndrome. I've found the perfect middle ground, making fun of him and how funny it is that this court case has to actually be tried. That's hilarious to me. That's hilarious to me. And we're gonna keep going because we're not done. Until this video is done, we got, what, 40 more minutes? Y'all got me until I'm done here.
That she was even reported missing. After this phone call, the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department actually went to David's home to conduct a welfare check. And the first witness at the first day of the preliminary hearing was one of the sheriffs that visited David's home during that February 2024 welfare check.
David didn't have enough degrees of separation to give any benefit of doubt.
They also showed body.
I don't know why I clicked play, but none. He had no degree of separation. He was there the entire time. He put himself at every situation. People in his Discord knew about her. There are that's online witnesses. He would post her on Instagram. Little hints and shit. Buddy thought he was really getting away with this. He thought that he was soft launching a minor.
Body cam footage of that officer going into David's home, searching it, as well as speaking to him.
Of Celeste, I'll be honest with you, the body cam footage was disappointing. Not in terms of it didn't show much, but it was disappointing in terms of it felt like the officers maybe could have done a little bit more to investigate. They kind of sort of, I don't want to say let David off the hook, but when they visited his property and kind of were asking about this missing minor, it was very surprising. They didn't really put it on him. We heard rumors that they had gone to his property and told him she's 13 and warned him. That's not really what we saw in that footage. I'm not trying to defend David by any means, but they basically went to his property, said, look, we're looking for this girl. Is she here? They searched the property. She wasn't there. David, honestly, he seemed very nervous, and I'm not saying that he wasn't up to nothing dodgy. He did kind of seem a little bit nervous, but he was forthcoming. He said, oh yeah, I know her. I thought she was 18. She told me that she was 18. Other people trying to tell me she's 13 now. He showed them a picture of her on his phone.
If I'm dealing with somebody and groups of people are saying that they're younger than they are, wouldn't you believe them? Well, first of all, I'm not dealing with anyone who even, no, fuck no. Like, hell no. But in this case, would you not listen to the people around you? Would you not? That's such a weak defense. That's like a wildly weak defense. People around me were saying, okay, well, listen to the people around you. He had to play. How?
He showed them the, alleged, it's been alleged that it's a yearbook photo, but it looked more just like a sort of random picture of her. But that was kind of the first witness who basically, was on the stand and described going to David's property. We saw the body cam footage, and then David's defense, they kind of had a good little moment when they said, well, at no point did you say definitively that she's 13. I'm pretty sure the way that it was worded, he was kind of like, I think she might be 13. It wasn't clear. It wasn't definitive, and it made you think, damn, like, that's not quite what we thought that we was actually going to be hearing. So that one, I'm not going to lie, that it was definitely not good for David, but it was also, there were little holes that his defense poked into it, and they were doing a very good job of poking holes in things.
So they answered the call. David said, I've been on the phone with the cops. And they said straight up, they said, "Is Celeste here?" And it was like the way that they started, it sounded like they was going to play hardball with him. It's like, "Oh yeah, how you doing? Yeah, is Celeste here?" And then he's like, "Nah." He said, "Oh
no, she's not here. No, he's not a good liar. When I saw that body cam footage, he is not a good liar. There ain't a deep enough pit in hell to be thrown in after what he did, but he's more than deserved. I want him to stay alive so he can like serve the time, but I also want him to like get the penalty of not being here anymore. Any black person knows R. Kelly and knows to seek confirmation. You would, yeah, black people do, not whatever he is. No, David's not black. We've been over. David's not black. He's not. He's racial. He had no racial identity. You saw him in the studio. He was playing rapper. He was trying to put on a facade. It didn't work.
They just last spoke when I was in Australia. He was like, I was out the country. I just got back from Australia.
He's just
I was
American.
on tour.
No, for sure, just American.
I thought he sounded super nervous to begin with. And then he gets a little bit more confidence as the interaction goes on. I'd say David spoke very fast in the body cam footage. They're asking him questions like, when did you last speak? He's like, last week, or I just got back from Australia. So I believe he did tell them that he had spoken to her last on the 13th of February. Again, he had that information ready to go, quick time answer. 13th February, like he was quick time with the answer. He explained to them that they met at the end of 2021 on Discord, said outright it was like a video game chat room, and that they'd continued to communicate on Discord, Instagram, Facebook, but mainly on Discord. That's where they met specifically, on Discord through a video game chat room. They basically asked him if he has any tattoos. And I didn't actually hear the response to that. David even offers the cop like a drink from his fridge, and they're not interested.
This is like a stretch, but like the offering a drink from the fridge. What if you're trying to poison them niggas? Bro, it was Roblox, wasn't it? No, it was Fortnite. It was Fortnite. Which, just as bad. Just as bad. You know he was playing Roblox, though. You know he was playing Roblox. You know he was. And that this is the weird thing about that game, right? This is the weird thing. Roblox was around when I was in the 6th grade. Like, one of my homies in class said, bro, you got to play this game. It's the future. It's so cool. I played that shit for like 10 minutes, and I said, this is lame as fuck. Like, what is fun about this? And bro's on the phone with me. Oh, yeah, we can play different mini games, and it's like, what the fuck? Bro, this is stupid. I don't want to play this. Like, what are we doing? And that was when I was 11. So to think that game has only grown and got weirder? No. He on Fortnite flexing them Power Ranger skins. I love Power Rangers. I don't play Fortnite, but Power Rangers is like my lifelong obsession.
They basically asked you Celeste's cell phone number. He gives it over. He gives several numbers for her. And then basically says, look, the only time I ever met her was on November the 12th, 2023 at the beach. And he said an address where the beach was, where he met them. Again, he had all this information ready to go straight off the top. So he gave like a more recent.
What do I always say in these situations? What? Too many moving parts. If a story has too many moving parts, it's not true. That's something that my insane mother has told me my entire life. If a story has too many moving parts, it's not true.
Phone number for her is like, oh, this is the last number I communicated with her on. And he was being very cooperative. Now, knowing what we know now, it's easy to be more suspicious. But at the time, the cops possibly just thought, look, this guy's super cooperative. He's given all the info. He's probably worried about her, probably thinks he's in some weird shit, even having an interaction with this girl. And he says, oh, I've got a picture of her. I can show you a picture. If you're looking for her, she's missing. I'll show you a picture of her. He was quick on his feet.
So, in every body cam video, there's always like the cop who's recording who doesn't like catch on. There's the second cop to the side who's like, no, don't let him go. Don't let him go. Please. He's doing something wrong. Like, we got to get into his house. You know, there was a cop to his side just watching everything. Like, did this motherfucker just admit to knowing the missing child we're looking for in his crib? This motherfucker just admit to having talked to her last week? Like, you know, like, if you watch enough interrogations or body cam videos, you know there's always somebody off to the side that is picking up everything that the guy in front is not. I want to hear the other cop's testimony. I want to hear the cop that's off to the side like, bro, what did he just say? Nigga, what? Nah. Keep him talking. Because bro, keep that nigga talking. He's one of those people, because there are people in the world who, if you let them talk too much, they won't ever stop. Like with me, I talk too much, right? But if I don't want to say something, I don't want to say it. I'll keep something in. It seems like this nigga David had to let something out all the time. The music, he had to drop clues in the music. Social media, he had to drop shit in the social media. He couldn't keep himself to himself. He was so conceited that he thought that he was just the best. If you let those people talk, they will never hide anything. So I think that if they would have just let him, you know, maybe if they would have came in and he should have accepted the drink. I take back the little poison shit. He should have accepted the drink. He should have went in. Should have talked to him. Because there was evidence around the crib. She wasn't deceased yet. Freudian slip, for real. Average person has an easy to follow version of the truth to retell. Liars have to add so many specific details, but are strangely forgetful when asked about relevant questions they didn't rehearse. The simple shit. The simple little details. That's what, in all the little foolishness videos, I said the truth is in the details. The truth is in the details, the little shit, not the big grand story. Because when someone tells you a giant grand story, just ask one little question. Just one little poke. One little boop. And it usually... Sorry. I live in a neighborhood where I have to do that at 3 a.m. That's right. Move along, nigga.
Feet with it. So from there, he explained we met a couple of years ago.
See how I just got on guard real quick? See how all that little blouse and fancy shit went out the window, the little cutesy, everything went out the fucking window when I had to look out that shit? That comes from being in an inner city neighborhood where I have to, you know, do that. That comes with racial identity to a point. My reaction comes with racial identity. I don't give a fuck what you say. Would he have reacted like that? No, because he doesn't understand what it's like to be black. I just had to say that. Oh no, Barney is not far from me. Not far from me at all. Always within Barney was not in reach. That was kind of worrisome. Barney was not in reach. Okay. Had to make sure that that made me nervous. That made me very nervous. I like to be able to protect myself at all times, and I had recently had to store things under my bed. And I think like in moving those things, Barney got pushed toward like the back. And I don't like that because that's not like accessible. Yeah, Barney's always within reach, always. I like protection. I like my life.
We spoke on and off. They asked if she knows if she frequents the area, and he was sort of like, oh, I don't know. That was one of the answers where I'd say he looked the most nervous. When they said, do you know if she frequents this area in West Hollywood? He's like, oh, no, I don't know. That was sort of like where he was looking a bit sus and a bit scared, because to be honest, he probably didn't know how to answer that one. He probably didn't think of that one, because it's like, sounds like she did frequent the area, and it sounds like she frequented a couple of them properties. So I feel like that was one where he was like not prepared for that, but it flew under the radar. So David said outright, oh, she told me she was 18. That's what he said. And then he said to the cops, he said this, he volunteered this information. People have been telling me she's 13, but she said,
I want to call mine kindness when I get it. You should always name and to some extent decorate or personalize your firearm. You should have a connection more than just it being a tool of defense when it comes to a gun. That's my opinion. I have a very different look on firearms. I'm finding out. I've been banned from a few subreddits because of the way I talk about guns. But and the fact that I've painted mine. No, I believe that your firearm should be an extension of you. Like, it should be an extension of your personality, your wants with defense, and, you know, fun if you so choose, because not every weapon is going to be a defense weapon. Some weapons are for show, some weapons are for, you know, sport. But sometimes you get the one that's good for all of them. Sometimes you get the one that's good for all of them. I would bring Barney to war if I had to. That weapon ran dirty for over a year. I did not clean it for over 365 days. I went shooting every week. It did not jam on me one time. The amount of buildup and like I don't want to say soot, but like buildup and debris inside of the weapon, it took me about a half hour to clean. Oil, rags, Q-tips. Oh yeah. But carbon, there we go. Yes. That buildup was disgusting, but it did not jam on me one time. I didn't even notice that I didn't clean it. That's how good it ran. No matter what ammunition I put inside, slug, buck, bird, didn't matter. That weapon runs it. Over a year, dirty, disgusting. I would take Barney to war in a heartbeat. No questions asked. That's my bitch right there. That's my bitch right there.
Said she's 18. And so he basically said, yeah, they're saying that the yearbook picture that I've got on my phone was taken a year before, like, I met her. And so I'm thinking, he didn't say this, but it's like he was sort of inferring. It's like, oh, she told me she was 18 and this yearbook picture of hers going around and I heard it was taken a year before and like maybe that was 17. He doesn't say 17, but that's sort of what he's inferring. So he basically says he tried to contact her. The phone is dead. At one point, he even said, oh, this is like a movie, which is fucking crazy because it's like a movie watching him go through it in trial, to be honest with you.
Now, I might sound like a broken record here.
Saying that this feels like a movie when you're getting interrogated about, you know, the thing that you laid clues to, does that show depersonalization? Like, does that show like some sort of, does that show a weird case of depersonalization? Like, you're not making yourself human anymore, you know? Like he said, he was his own anime character. I trying to disassociate, but yeah, he was trying to like not try. Okay, disassociating, yes, but I think that was just his regular state. I think that the fame had gotten to his fucked up head so much that he at one point probably thought he wasn't himself anymore. Like, oh no, I'm not David Anthony Burke. I'm David. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not. It's crazy fucking psychopath people don't get it and do harm to the innocent. There was no saving this man. There was no saving this man. He was going to be a problem regardless. But I think that at a certain point, he thought that he was bigger than the program. You know what I mean? Bigger than the program, meaning bigger than life. thinking that he could get away with this, thinking that David Anthony Burke didn't do it, David did. And this isn't, once again, this is just trying to, yeah, fucked from jump. Because something, if an egg is cracked, the egg is just cracked a little bit. If the egg has a little crack in it, but no fluid is coming out, the egg is cracked. It's fine. But once you put that egg in a jar that is homeschool, right? That little crack, shift the jar, it's gonna crack some more. It's gonna crack some more. It's gonna crack some more. And this is just him being like murderous and shit. He was always gonna be a PDF, right? But I want to know, at what point did the egg just break? At what point did it go from him just being a regular piece of shit in society, like just an inhumane piece of shit in society, to now I'm gonna escalate it to I'm gonna mutilate someone? Bro's cracked egg got boiled. Oh, that's a perfect metaphor. The cracked egg got boiled. Now all the the egg white and yolk is now boiled. It's confirmed. It's firm now. But guess what? It's still a cracked egg. It's just solidified. $3 a.m. heater. 3 a.m. heater.
But you have to remember that the point of this preliminary hearing is to present all the evidence to the judge, and the judge must then decide if there's enough evidence for this case to go to trial. During the presentation of all this evidence and all the witnesses coming forward, David's defense team's job is to poke holes in everything that prosecutors show to the judge. Because obviously if they could show the judge that there's inconsistencies with everything prosecutors are bringing forth, the judge might think that there's not enough of a case to even bring this to trial to begin with. And remember again that David is pleading not guilty. Now, the second witness on day one was actually the robbery homicide detective who was on the scene when Celeste's body.
He don't even look right in a do-rag. Look at him. He does not even look right in the dewey.
Was actually the.
This is the most Caucasian looking do-rag tie ever. You know a white person did this. You know his stylist did this for him. He don't got no cape hanging. This tie-up is crazy. Like,
the robbery homicide detective who was on the scene when Celeste's body was found in the front
that was
trunk.
His look for a minute. This was his look for a minute, DJ.
Of David's Tesla. During the hearing, pictures were also shown of Celeste's remains and how they were discovered in the trunk. Now,
do y'all think other people was involved as well? Involved? No. Complicit, meaning that they knew to an extent? Yes. Yeah. People had to have known simply because that's a rotting body. A child went missing that he was dealing with for a long time. And if you saw how he acted afterward, there was no hiding it. So do I think that other people helped? No. Do I think other people knew? There's no chance there wasn't. He's not someone who can keep a secret. As we're finding out, he can't keep his mouth shut. There's no way that he didn't freak out and go, I did it. Oh my God, I did it. Oh my God, oh my God. There has to be a recording of that. I'm not dumb enough to think that's not happening. He flipped out to somebody, okay? Yo, if I was a betting man, I don't gamble, right? Because I have like addiction problems. But if I was a betting man, I promise you, I would put hundreds of dollars on the fact that he told someone, yo, I did it. I did that phone call, that phone evidence is probably gonna go crazy. That phone evidence, there's probably so much of, yo, what do I do? Oh my God. They got his Amazon account. His 2 fake Amazons, he bought handheld saws in pink. A kiddie pool. cadaver bags. But yeah, this is totally random. Right, totally random. Oopsies. Totally random. Do I think that Neo? I believe that once again that person knew. I don't think that he had help. I don't. Because if he would have had help, somebody else would have been on his case. There would have been a co-defendant. If you helped if you helped orchestrate this, if you helped with this bot moving it, he would have snitched. First of all, you know he's not keeping it solid. Let's be real. You know he's not keeping it solid. He's snitching first chance he gets. In pink is crazy. I promise you. The fire cage too. The burn cage that went up to, what was it? Four. It was like 700, whatever the hell. No, it was 7. Hold on, let me check. Maybe ran defense. The burn cage wasn't opened. The defense is gonna run that crazy. I just had to get that back. The defense is going to run with that. The burn cage was not open. The packages, actually, can I even, not hot enough to, hold on. No, it was up to something. It was up to something. Well, it was, I want to get the exact Fahrenheit because it was something wild. And there was also something else. A fireproof mat. Fireproof mat. Why did he leave her body like that? He had money. He could have. Stacey, I've said like 100 times. He's stupid. There's nothing intelligent about this entire. Like. No. He is not all there. Why would you have to? And let's remember. He's using this as like a trophy situation. He's basing his music off of withering bodies, decay, death. He was using this for inspiration. He mapped out where he was going to dump the body. He tried to dump evidence. He tried to like get rid of her IDs and passport in places that he mapped out and visited multiple times. There's no sense of intelligence here.
Oh, just a trigger warning, I'm going to show a courtroom sketch that depicts a lot of the images that were shown throughout the hearing, and I will blur out anything that's too graphic. Yeah. As you can see here, there were pictures shown of the Tesla with the front trunk open.
Told you, handsaws, cadaver bags. This saw was in pink. It was a red or pinkish hue. It was pink. It was pink.
Pictures of Celeste's finger that had the shush tattoo on it. All of the stuff that authorities found in David's home throughout their searches, like the burn cage, the chainsaw.
Oh yeah, the mop. He literally bought a spin mop. This is how disconnected he is. He bought a spin mop. Like, yeah, I'm about to get rid of all her blood in this spin mop. Okay. Alright. Fucking spin mop. Idiot.
The knife, the inflatable pool, all things that were allegedly used for mutilation, as well as images that have blurred out of Celeste's decomposed cut body that was in bags in the front trunk of David's Tesla. But like I said, it was still David's defense team's job to poke holes at all the evidence.
The boy wasn't right in the head. Also, him keeping the body was like how John Wayne Gacy kept the bodies of the young men he killed in the crawl space under his house. It's a means of keeping possession and trophies. Do we not understand? Okay, 100%. DJ, you're absolutely correct. I'm adding on to that. Let's look at how possessive he was in those text messages, right? Let's look at how he wanted complete control over this child. He wanted to. I don't think he was smart enough to get rid of the body. I'm not gonna give it. I'm not gonna give him too much credit here. I don't want to say he kept it for emotional reasons. or not emotional, but like sick emotional reasons. I think that he was too dumb to dispose of it. I think that there was no possible way that he could have gotten away with disposing it successfully. The finger was ID due to the tattoo, and he had an obsession with an anime about severing body parts. He made his own little anime cartoons and his music videos about severing body parts. This entire case, the more you talk about it, the worse it gets. Like it's like a stain on a carpet. It's not gonna go away.
Presented. And that's exactly what they tried to do when the robbery homicide detective presented this evidence during the hearing.
That testimony in court, it was honestly just sickening to see the footage of what was found in that car, to hear the testimony of the officer that actually dealt with that.
I'm gonna give him 1 point of blackness. We don't change batteries and smoke detectors. Fuck you. I hate that goddamn sound. I hate that goddamn sound, bro. I do. I hate that sound. That shit irks me. That beeping.
It was just honestly just horrifying. That was extremely bad. And really that was kind of very, very damning. There wasn't really much to defend on that front. But what they did manage to do was they pointed out, the defense pointed out some very, very interesting holes.
Before anyone points it out, yes. I drooled. It happens. I tried to talk and yeah, leave me alone.
In that basically timeline of when the body was discovered and recovered, they basically pointed out some inconsistencies with the fact that it was kind of a local police department that opened the Tesla, exposed the first bag. It was then the detectives from the robbery homicide division that then came and moved the first bag, discovered the second bag underneath it in the Tesla, and then it was the medical examiner that then came to the scene and was the only person authorized to touch the body.
Are we just gonna start randomly beeping in the chat now? Oh, we think this is funny. Okay, that's cute. I'm glad you guys think that's funny. All right. That's hilarious. Commentator roasting somebody, instantly losing credibility with me as soon as I hear a smoke detector.
Now, one point that they made that was very, very interesting was they basically said, why didn't you keep the body bag? They never kept the body bag that Celeste was unfortunately found in. They basically disposed of it, and they disposed of it. It's disgusting to say, I'm so sorry to say this, but the liquefied remains that were inside that bag.
She wasn't preserved at all. When I say, yeah, her remains were not preserved at all. Remember the rumor that she was partially frozen? They found evidence of her being frozen. That's why I didn't want to cover this case for so fucking long. Like, I didn't want to cover this shit because why are we talking about remains being frozen? They were found in California in the spring. Are we really gonna say that? I'm sorry, in the summer, September? Where are they found? Spring or so, whatever the hell. They weren't frozen. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the season they were found. They weren't frozen. Why is that even being put out there? And I fell for it. I'm not gonna lie. I fucking fell for it. I'm like, oh yeah, they were found in summer. How could they be frozen? I fell for so much propaganda in this case. I felt dumb. When the real shit came out and people were saying, oh, that wasn't true, that was true, this was true, I felt so stupid. That's why it took me forever to talk about it. Ross is really moving around now. Ross is like, Trap Lord Ross is no longer, I'm just going to report on gang stuff. He talks about the hard-hitting news. He's at the trials. Trap Lord Ross is a true culture journalist, a modern culture journalist. internet culture
They
journalists.
basically said we didn't really have the means to preserve that. That was unpreservable. What we did is we cut the handles off the body bag that might have had DNA on it, and we kept obviously the core remains. But they basically admit we don't have the body bag. I don't know where it is. They sort of said, "Oh, was it destroyed?" And they said, "Oh, we wouldn't say destroyed, but it was not we couldn't preserve it. It was just liquefied remains in a bag, in a mesh bag that was just, you know, half a leftover garbage bag. It was not preservable." Now that unfortunately did look quite bad on the prosecution to sort of say, well, this is a really, really important thing. Why didn't you preserve it? And them arguing, well, we couldn't preserve it. It wasn't preservable. Didn't really kind of land for some people. I feel like for a lot of people, it felt like that really wasn't a good enough answer. And it sort of made you think, okay, there's some inconsistencies here. And I'll be honest with you, I think the prosecution had a pretty hard time when they started talking about all the evidence that was claimed from David's property. Now, there was some pretty bad timeline stuff. We've heard all these rumors of David had a chainsaw, he had multiple chainsaws in his property, but it turns out there were actually 3 chainsaws. There were 2 chainsaws that were ordered off Amazon that were found in his property, and neither of those had any DNA on it. Apparently neither of those had blood on them, neither of those actually had any of his DNA or his evidence on them, and, you know, the cops ended up leaving them there. They talked about the burn cage, which wasn't used. They talked about not being able to find an apparent, you know, heat-proof mat that was ordered on Amazon, and really the alleged chainsaw that this dismemberment was allegedly carried out with apparently was never found, and it sounds like that was something that was Uber Eats or Postmates to him. He kind of ordered a shovel, this other chainsaw, and it did make you think, is this the play that he's going for? The actual chainsaw that he used has been vanished, has been disappeared, but the 2 chainsaws that they found in his property that he ordered off Amazon that didn't have any evidence on them that they were used in a crime. That really throws people off the scent, and it makes you wonder, okay, what do we actually have? They allegedly have the cadaver bags being ordered off Amazon, but they don't have the bags themselves. That evidence, they said they wasn't able to preserve. So that doesn't really look too good. I was very surprised that we...
I hope to God that his legal team does not think that that's enough to win. Like, okay, she was clearly chopped up using a chainsaw. The chainsaws in his house don't have his DNA. They weren't used. Okay, cool. But that shows that you like to use chainsaws. You ordered bags online. Okay. They found her in bags, right? Like, they found her remains in the cadaver bags, the body bags. Just because they didn't keep the evidence doesn't mean that there wasn't ever evidence that she was in said body bags. I'm not, this isn't shit talking, this isn't just shit talking Ross at all, because he's just giving the facts of the case. But that's not enough for even a small wiggle. It's just not. There's just so much stacked evidence. The saw he used was disposed of, period. Exactly. If he ordered 3, right? Because this is simple math. I would love to be the prosecutor in this situation. I'd get right on the right at the defense table. 3 minus 1 equals 2. You following me? Okay. The bag is pictured in all of the of the photographs when the evidence was found. Just because you don't have it now does not mean that it is not photographed being there. All they gotta do is match the cut marks to the blade. But the issue with that is he probably bought. See, this is why I think he may have had some sort of informational help, meaning that someone gave him information, possibly because he's too stupid to think of this. Because this is a smart little out. 3 different brands of chainsaws, 3 different styles of blades, 3 different strengths. Let's say that he bought a small, medium, and large. Once again, please follow me. If he used the medium one on her, prosecutor pardon that blouse is not proper court attire. If he used the medium chainsaw, right? Dismembered the child that he was abusing and molesting. Now he got rid of the medium chainsaw. The marks from the small and large chainsaw will never match that. So he could effectively say, okay, match the tracks from the body to the 2 chainsaws that were found in my house. You can't do that. Is that a weak little defense? Yes, it is, but that's just enough to buy some time. That's just enough. Like, that's just enough. They can get his Amazon history and test all 3. They sure did get his Amazon history. I'm playing lawyer, I'm playing like devil's advocate lawyer person, okay? That's a defense they could take. Obviously, they weren't smart enough to do that because they said, oh, we're going to buy 3 and test all the tracks. So, you need a suit for this case. This is the best I'm doing. No suits right now.
We heard talk of all this searching going on in the property, but we didn't actually get a concrete confirmation. I didn't hear at any point them mention blood being found in the garage, which I thought was something that was going to be brought up. Maybe that's going to be brought up later. They did bring up the blue kiddie pool that was found in the garage, and they said they did recover that. And, you know, the plastic pieces were, you know, found, it's horrible to say, but lodged in her, the severance wounds on her limbs. But there were definitely a few things that just didn't quite add.
That means that he put the body down and was chopping it downward. He put, like, her body down, and if the wounds were found and he used a chainsaw, I'm just saying, like, from what is being described, that's the, and I say, I know his defense team knows he's yeah, you didn't see the opening statements. The opening statements of his prelim, you could see the secondary attorney look at his first shorty and be like, yo, what are you talking about, not guilty? Like, you can see her face go, we said we were going to enter your guilty plea. Like, she looked like she was shocked but trying to hold it together. She said, where he pleads not guilty. Like, what? And as she's saying, and we will show that he did not do these charges, and just the other woman's like, yo, just dumbfound that her constituent is saying all this nonsense. Like, she cannot believe that her homie, not her homie, but her legal partner in this is saying he didn't do it. Like, come on, bro, he didn't do.
Up the fact that it was to find out these 2 chainsaws that we've been hearing about for so long hadn't been used in
first day on the job face. His lawyer looking at him like Bill Duke was looking at Kane in Menace to Society. You know you fucked up, bro. His lawyer, listen, I'm not gonna lie, his in the meeting room, you know that his lawyer went, you did what? I look at all the evidence, like, you know, like the little room where they have the with the criminal and lawyer, the little interrogation room. She's like, bro, how much are you paying me? Can you get Interscope to double that, please? Just flipping through the evidence, like, chainsaws? You bought chainsaws? Flip. You sent what text messages? 3 yo, okay. Yeah, man, you might need to triple that. I can only imagine how much trouble his weak ass had trying to operate a chainsaw. That's why they had kid chainsaws. That's why they had mini chainsaws that were like basically kid chainsaws. I take that back. I stand what I said. Buddy used a kid chainsaw. That shit was handheld and small and pink. That was a kid chainsaw. Buddy used a kid chainsaw to chop up the kid that he was abusing. That's, you want me to get you a not guilty verdict off of this? Terabytes of, his lawyer said, what's a terabyte? Is that like a 3 floppy disks? She said, that's how many computers? You know, she went home and got drunk as hell. She went home and got drunk as fuck. Like, I'm about to put my reputation on the line. I can never defend anybody after this. She's getting caught. She's getting paid so much. She's getting paid, so you know she's getting a crazy bag. You know she is. Anybody who's willing to put their case on the line, put their life on the line, put their professionalism, their career on the line, you know she's getting a fucking bag. Like Lil Durk's lawyer, he really thinks that he has a chance here. Lil Durk's lawyer is definitely going to get him off some of these charges. This woman is going to make it worse for him. This woman is going to make his entire case so much worse. Even though there's no saving it, she's going to make it worse. She won't need another case after the payday. No, she won't. She's about to retire after this, 100%. She's never defending anyone else after this because her reputation is cooked. She's going to get him more time in prison because of how nervous she is. She doesn't seem confident. The prosecution is just waiting to line this nigga up, bro. 7 months. You had 7 months to do drugs, party, and cry in that mansion. They had 7 months to get ready to cook your dumbass. They had 7 months to prepare, nigga. All some people need is 3 days to prepare to realize to figure out how to get somebody. They had 7 months. That's why this evidence is so concrete. That's why when people are saying, why don't they just get him? Why don't they just get him? This is why. 7 months of preparation. They didn't even get to trial yet. That was just the prelims. That wasn't everything. That wasn't even 10%. That wasn't even 15% of everything. FX limited TV series, book deal, Netflix doc. Actually, if a Netflix doc comes out about this, it's gonna be bad. Don't let Netflix touch this, please. Don't let Netflix touch this, please. I beg of you.
In the dismemberment, that was very, very shocking, to be honest with you, and I feel like I was very, very surprised. And it sounds like whatever that chainsaw that was actually used to do this dismemberment is long gone, apparently. They haven't been able to recover that.
Now, another thing presented at the hearing was a bunch of data that authorities extracted from David's phone and other technology devices. Remember that—
You know he was addicted to his phone. Oh, I said he's not a large guy. He's definitely not, which is why I think that he got the small. He definitely got the small chainsaws. He definitely got the small chainsaw for a reason. Big Bird hairstyle.
Extracted from David's phone and other technology devices. Remember that authorities believe David and Celeste—
There's nothing inherently wrong with that. Stacy, I will check your message in a bit. But wow. Now I have to dispute with Google because I just got charged for YouTube Premium. Damn it, I have to dispute that with Google later on. It's fine. That's life. I don't care that much. Whatever. But I'll just dispute it and get my money back and cry. What was I saying? Right, go back. I'm sorry, my brain melted.
Was a bunch of data that—
Right, his cell phone. There's no way that he wasn't always on his phone. There wasn't any way that he wasn't texting about this constantly. So when they say they extracted data from his phone, they only showed the text between him and Celeste. They didn't show the text between him and anyone else. Like him and no one else. If you think that he wasn't talking about this, let's remember, bro went on interviews. He went on live streams after this. He went on multiple live streams. He live streamed with her before all this happened. So you think that he wasn't? He was so confident that he live streamed with the child. He live streamed with, like, come on, man. What are we really dealing with here? What type of like narcissistic sociopath are we really touching here?
Authorities extracted from David's—
Wait, I just realized that I said what type of narcissistic sociopath we're really touching. Hopefully in prison they touch this narcissistic sociopath a lot.
Phone and other technology devices. Remember that authorities believe David and Celeste had began an S relationship in late 2023. They also allege that David had actually traveled with Celeste out of country, booking her flight tickets as an accompanied minor. During the hearing, prosecutors showed that while searching David's devices, they were able to discover an email address belonging to David where airline tickets were booked for both him and Celeste.
They were able to do, through a warrant, just extractions from his phone, which apparently was an iPhone 16 Pro, and it was Pro Max, called the Tranquilizer. And this phone, by the way, has never physically been located. And this was the phone disconnected on the 29th.
The Tranquilizer? Yo. I understand naming your phone something cute and quirky. But why? There were signs. There were signs. There were signs that were ignored, but there were signs.
So, per Celebrate activity, you know, they were kind of showing us sort of the places that he went, and they were screenshotting some of these places from the infotainment center on the Tesla and matching it up to the iCloud. For example, we had a trip identified in navigation to Santa Barbara and Lake Cachuma, plus a Tesla charge in San Ynez Valley in May of 2025, a month after they believe she was killed. There was another location of interest, a charging station on 729, which is on the way to Santa Barbara as well. And they found surveillance footage from a home nearby when he parked the Tesla on July 29th, 2025, the alleged last time that it was in his possession. And they showed us just multiple angles of him getting out, going into his home, you know, and that's that. They talked about getting a search warrant for the...
I said this, you live in a very... Why can't you talk like a real person? Because these people all want to fit a certain aesthetic when it comes to the internet. Lauren Conlon. You want to be a news reporter real bad. I don't know if you are a news reporter. Maybe you are. But apply at CNN after this. They really like you.
The home as well, where they getting out, going into his...
Right. I said this. Security cameras. You live in a nice neighborhood. You think that these places aren't surveyed? They watch your every move around these $1 million homes. Why would they not?
Home, you know, and that's that. They talked about getting a search warrant for the home as well, where they went over the evidence that we kind of already knew about. The burn cage, they found that in a box behind the piano. They found a blue iPhone 15 that belonged to David. And, you know, they also said they found a tower computer where there was another email address. And this email address was also connected to the iPhone that, or the iCloud data that he had, and it's follow it, which is FALLIT, and some numbers at gmail.com. And they actually found through that email or through that iCloud on the tower computer several flights that David had booked between I think it was LA to Texas and LA to London for both he and Celeste. There was also purchases made under another alias besides Victoria Mendez, Travion Davis, I believe it was. Yeah, also the red Tesla in the garage, they were showing us photos when they were...
I think it's so funny that he knew that his name sounded so white. He's like, you know what, to throw him off my trail, I'm going to try and sound as black as possible. The blackest name he knew. He's like, wait, that's the exact opposite of my shit. David Anthony Burke. No. Travion Davis. This is why I think, like, he had no racial identity, bro. He had to have been racist. Like, he had to have been racist thinking that he could just do black caricatures. Right? Like, come on, man.
We're discussing the search warrant. They said that was registered to Robert Morgenroth, and they identified him as David's manager and, quote, personal assistant. I found that to be interesting.
Now, you might also be curious how authorities actually confirmed that the decomposing, mutilated body in the front trunk of a Tesla that belonged to David was actually the body of Celeste. Well, if you guys remember back when it was first uncovered that a body was found in a car that belonged to David, there was massive reporting of this in the news. And at that point in time, on September 10th, about 2 days after the body was uncovered, Celeste's father had actually theorized that it may be his own daughter's body in that car.
But yeah, the
so
family
he made the
didn't
call
care,
to
right?
authorities, and they confirmed that that was the case.
How they also identified Celeste, Jesus Rivas called LAPD Communications on September 10th after he saw lots of media coverage on the 8th, and he said, look, I think this might be my daughter. And basically, he used his son as an interpreter, or Celeste's brother, and he was able to provide LAPD or the medical examiner's office with her dentist's office so they could, identify the dental records, and it was her. And also, he did say that per Jesus Rivas, that she had 2 different phone numbers, and he gave them to police. And then they also found out that she had a 3rd phone number that no one knew. And when the detective said her name, he said, did he say his daughter's name? He said, yes, it was Celeste Abigail Rivas Hernandez. That was very sad. It was a very sad moment to hear her full name.
Absolutely horrifying. And to add another layer to the tragedy of this case, the loss of life of this child, is the fact that the crime may have been committed to keep Celeste silent, all for financial gain. Prosecutors had alleged that between text message conversations amongst David and Celeste, it had shown that their quote-unquote relationship was getting turbulent. Celeste began getting jealous of David interacting with other girls, and because of that, she threatened to come forth to authorities on the fact that he was having S relations with an A minor.
I'm going to run that back because I was typing a message. I'm not going to lie. I was having to respond to something.
Of David interacting with other girls. And because of that, she threatened to come forth to authorities on the fact that he was having S relations with an A minor, aka herself.
Question, right? Is it possible for this is a real question, right? Like deadass. Is it possible for a groomer to be faithful? Is it possible? Because obviously, bro is, grooming a child, right? But would it be possible for him to only want to be with, you see what I'm saying? Is there another, twisted cavity that makes him not want to, groom everyone, but just, groom her specifically? I don't know, I'm asking questions to the void. Don't listen to me.
Prosecutors believe that this could have been David's motive for actually taking Celeste's life.
He was after the thrill, not the girl. See, these are why I asked these questions. It was the act that bro was after, the control, the everything, not the actual. All right, there we go.
And a big reason why the death penalty for David is actually on the table is because this case may have been...
It's possessiveness, not loyalty. That's what I'm saying. Okay. That's okay. All right. Obviously. And age, yes. Thrill and... That makes the act 10 times worse. Obviously, it was already awful. But once you break it down like that, it's yo, this could have really happened to anybody. This could have happened nobody was safe from this nigga, for real. Nobody was safe from this nigga. And that's what I'm saying. Okay, the possessiveness, not loyalty. That's exactly what I'm saying. He was possessive over her, and he wanted to be possessive over other minors as well. But do you think that at some point that this would have carried on to him really trying to bring her to the public and be look, this is the person who I groomed. We're good now. And obviously it would have been a huge public fucking fiasco. But do y'all think that it could have got to that point? These are the questions that I have to ask, wondering is how far was he going to take this had he really tried to push it to be something past the sick shit that it was?
murder for financial gain. On day 2 of the preliminary
She was
hearing,
roasted him too bad. She was cooking that nigga, bro. Nah, I don't think men think that way anymore. Who's the actor that married his adopted daughter? Let's talk about it. That's what the fuck I'm saying. Thank you. Yo, I love having y'all. Woody Allen. Let's discover. Woody Allen. For a fact, it was Woody Allen. You think it would have been on some Woody Allen shit? But like, hey. Y'all think it would have been on that? No, she was cooking him, calling him a flat out like toucher. No. She was cooking this man to the boots. To the boots. Okay?
one of Law and Crime Network's reporters were actually sitting right behind David in the courthouse. And she described how David looked, as well as some of the financial related matters that were discussed during day 2 of the hearing. Because again, David's music career was highly successful. He was making not just himself, but a lot of people around him a lot of money. Profit splits are relevant to this case because it was possibly not just David who had the incentive of keeping Celeste quiet so that David's career in music could continue to grow.
I was sitting right behind David this morning. I somehow got a seat in front of where they were seating other reporters. I think it's because I actually walked in a little bit later than everybody else did. So because of that, they had me seated on the end of one of the attorneys' rows in that courtroom, and I was right behind David. He didn't look too great. You know, his hair is grown out. He is unshaven. He's wearing that LA County jail uniform, that orange jumpsuit, and he still has his feet and his waist shackled. He's not wearing handcuffs, though, so he was kind of splayed out in his chair, arms on his arm rests. I could see his yellow legal notepad that he had laid out in front of him, so I was trying to take a peek, trying to see if he was taking any notes. He didn't have anything written down, but there definitely were moments this morning during cross-examination.
Wait. What are his stats? He's 5'5". He's 5'5". Yo. When I said 5'5", I said that as a joke. He's 125 pounds? Nah. 120. You could push a nigga around like that. I'm probably like 40 pounds bigger than this nigga. Easily like, yo. Now, hold on. I'm like 5'8", right? I'm not gonna be one of them niggas. I'm 5'9". No, I'm 5'8". Solid. But 125 pounds. You're crazy. What? Prison's gonna... I want to say he's not gonna make it, but he has money. He has money. Like, let's never forget that, right? He's gonna be in high power. Short King's about to be in trouble in the pit when he shows up.
Down.
Nah, he's gonna be a trophy. Niggas are gonna like try and get him. He's gonna be a trophy, I promise you. He's gonna be a target. When I say trophy, I mean cutting off his little tattoo, cutting off his finger or something. I guarantee you, cutting off his finger is gonna be the trophy. There it is. Cutting off his finger is gonna be the trophy. Cutting off his finger is gonna be the trophy for sure.
But there definitely were moments this morning during cross-examination of witnesses where he did lean in and talk to his attorneys. The first time I noticed that, it was during cross-examination related to financial management. They were essentially talking about how much money he made through his record deal.
Too much. Too much fucking money. How much money he made through his record deal? Oops, sorry. Sorry, guys.
And how that money was divvied up. Because so many people were involved in this operation. So many people were making money off of him, to put it bluntly. And that's a key part of this case, because murder for financial gain is one of the special circumstances here that makes this.
All right, pick a dab. Pick a dab. Sour apple haze, pineapple puffer, Lucky Charms, or fruit punch. I said sour apple haze, pineapple puffers, Lucky Charms, or fruit punch. These things have AI art on them. Pick a jar. Any jar. The starting price tag, Lucky Charms, haze. His record company may take him out themselves. Okay, so we got one for Lucky Charms, one for haze. Lucky Charms is a little sedating, so I'm kind of like weary of touching that one. It's the only hybrid out of the four. The only hybrid. Sour apple haze. This is gonna make the stream go for like 2 more hours. Haze, Stony Sunny. Welcome to Improvised Radio. I'm your host, Pineapple, your host, of Smoke, and today, I think you've been listening this whole time, just giving your input now. So we got 3 for haze, 3 for haze. Okay, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. I think I have a dab in here and I don't know what it is. Oh, and it's dirty. I didn't even clean out the last one. Wow, I'm a disgusting sack of shit. I didn't even clean out the last fucking dab. I'm disgusting. Yo, that's so nasty. That's disgusting. What's up with me, dude? Okay. Think I'm good. Okay, we're good. So what was it? The sour apple haze. This was one of the ones I got for my birthday. This was such a good one. Probably my favorite one. Oh, it smells good too. Something about Headshot Labs just smells amazing. And here we go. I'm probably going to stay up with you guys for until this video is done. Oh my god. Okay. That was great. All right. Oh my goodness. We have 20 more minutes, and 20 more minutes is probably going to be like another hour. If you came here to just watch the videos, you're sadly mistaken. We don't do that here. I talk way too much in between these shits, okay? That's what happens. If you're watching this video just to watch the coverage, watch it somewhere else. It's not going to work like that, okay? God damn, that was so smooth. was so smooth. My goodness. That was amazing. Wow. There are very few like times in the world where I think that a dab wasn't harsh or harmful. That was actually super fucking enjoyable. I'm not loading another one. I'm just putting the one that I took out of here back in. Wow. I don't even know what that is. That was, I mean, the one I just hit was the sour apple haze. Oh my God. That's why I like sativas. 3 a.m. ready to go. Glad you're not dying. So what I do is I turn this way down, and these concentrates are notoriously super smooth. Headshot Labs, the brand I'm overly obsessed with, these jars never make me like die coughing because they're such good quality. They're so like they're just gorgeously made. Like it's a gorgeously made company. I literally went to the store where they sell it specifically. I need a sponsorship by this brand. Like as y'all know, I got terrible lungs. I take one dab, I'm out for the next 20 minutes, wheezing and shit. I feel great. I feel amazing. Oh, I'm ready to go.
Eligible for the death penalty.
Oh, right. I'm talking about this goddamn pedophile.
Now, as far as evidence that was displayed during the second day of the preliminary hearing, we saw more detail into what was found in that Tesla where Celeste's body was stored and discovered. It's absolutely disgusting to imagine, but they actually found dozens of air fresheners in the car.
I was waiting for that detail to be revealed. I was waiting for that detail to be revealed. Is that not the ultimate sign of this guy's kind of stupid? If I was his defense, and I'm not defending him, but I gotta play both sides, right? If I was his defense, I would go with, he's a little too stupid to do anything about this. What do you mean he killed? He's an idiot. His parents couldn't even keep him in school. He's so dumb. I would look the jury right in the face and go, listen, he's retarded. He couldn't have did it. He's too damn stupid. 11 air fresheners? Come on. He's too dumb. He's dumb as hell. And they would have pointed out how, listen, he would have got crushed in that defense, but I would have still played the defense. I don't give a fuck. I would have still played that same damn defense. I would have played the same shit. Listen, this is all jokes, okay? There's no defending him. There's literally no possible way that anyone in their right mind would ever think to defend him at all. Okay? I mean, that's a lie. I guarantee you, she gets paid $75K an hour. $75K an hour. $100,000 an hour. Something wild, bro, because we have to understand how much money he was making them. He was making them so much bread. It's sad. Call him the bakery. He was making Interscope the bread. How much money did he make on his tour? Let's talk about that one.
Showing that whoever was truly behind this crime was extremely calculated in not just dismembering and packaging the body in compact...
Gay.
In not just dismembering and
gay. Gay. Rest in peace, Celeste Rivas Hernandez. This nigga's gay. There's nothing straight about this image. You're clean shaven. You got your eyebrow pierced. Gay. Your Honor, my client hasn't taken a single breath his entire trial. He's brain dead, not the mastermind prosecution is painting him as. He asked for a coloring book, Your Honor. A coloring book of fish. That has nothing to do with his trial. He's an idiot. He's 5'5". DJ, do your damn thing. He's 5'5", 125 pounds, blonde, what are it called, wire coils, a little S-curl joint. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Do your shit, DJ. I know. Come on. Do your
Packaging
thing.
the body in compact
He's about to be
spaces.
someone's new best friend. It's my new best friend. He fell. He fell.
And I don't want to use the word calculated.
Why is he skipping? Because you didn't put his chains on tight enough. You can't allow him. He needs 1 hour of recess, or else he's gonna need a nap. Oh, let's never forget this man's mom was like at the gun shop 2 days after the body was found. She's like, y'all ain't getting me. I know what my son did. Y'all ain't getting me.
Take that back, because in the grand scheme of things, there was
all white kids. All white kids. Look at his demographic. All white kids. I know I can't be racist and shit, right? I can't be racist and shit. But like, is that not a sign? Like, man, once again, I hope that y'all don't think that I'm just like pushing the that's a sign thing, but they're all white TikTok kids. I don't know. I look too far into things. Did David even have a black audience with his music? No. That's why when people say, I never heard of him, that's because he wasn't for us. David was never for us. We didn't think about that. This man was never supposed to be ingested by us. Not like that. No pause, all go, right? But his music was never supposed to be for us. His music was for the emo kids of today. They just needed a different colored face for it. I only found out about a feature he had on a 21 Savage song. I didn't even know that was a thing. From my understanding and from what I've put together over the past like 6 months or 5 months of reading about this, hearing about it, watching videos about it, it's very clear that Interscope Records needed an emo voice, decided that his face was different enough, and did something about it. This was the thing that they did something about.
There's nothing calculated about the fact that authorities had already spoken to David a year prior about Celeste being 13, and a year later she's found in a car that belongs to him. So while calculated is definitely the wrong word, the fact that he was ordering burn cages, pools, shovels, chainsaws.
Rosin gummies, I got gifted these for my birthday, these dialed in gummies. 20 servings, 10. Yeah, they were really good. I ate one before a hike. Yeah, that was great. I love them. They taste wonderful. I'm starting to get
The
into
fact
more
that the
rosin
car
gummies.
was polluted with air fresheners to try and cover the scent, it shows that there was a deliberate effort to wipe this poor child's memory off the face of the earth, which is so disgusting to think about.
We were hearing testimony from an LAPD.
This is a kid.
criminologist. This was one of the officers called to investigate after the Tesla was towed to one of their tech centers. So we were looking at photos the prosecutor was showing the court of 11 different air fresheners that were found in that Tesla. I mean, Celeste's remains had been in there decomposing likely for months. So to cover up that smell, somebody put nearly a dozen air fresheners, not just inside the car, but actually in the front trunk. Yeah. And that's where the cadaver bags with her remains were found. It's not just that this crime was committed, it's that somebody went to truly horrifying lengths, Jesse, to try and cover up their tracks. I could see her parents kind of shrinking into themselves and moving a little bit closer together when those photos came up. There's so many elements of this that are horrifying in ways I don't think we can fully imagine.
She was cooking this nigga to his face. She called him Jeffrey Epstein on a live stream. Remember that. She knew what he was at a point. Okay? She did. She was cooking this nigga. She was running his pockets. He was tricking. I'm putting all blame on him. She was doing what a kid would do. You want to give me money? All right, you're a terrible person. Give me money. Give me money. Come on, money. Fuck that nigga, bro.
Them.
Now, as far as
laughing at him getting uncomfortable, bro, she wasn't just like, oh well, he's a great guy. At a certain point, she's like, this nigga's weird, bro. You can see it in her face. Oh, this nigga weird. Yo, like, I've seen points made. Well, she was taking the money, and her friends were taking the money. Yeah, they're kids. That's the point that I'm trying to make. She was a kid. She was making fun of him, like taking the money, like really like hurting this nigga's pockets, roasting him, making him feel stupid. Why? Because she's 13. That's what a poor 13-year-old's gonna do. A poor 13-year-old's gonna accept, like, is going to be led by the money. This nigga was the predator who was leading her with the money. She knew what he was, but she is a kid at the end of the day. Exactly. That's 100% what I'm saying. A kid's gonna take that money. A kid's gonna go, damn, I don't got shit at home, so like, nah. She was a child, but she wasn't a dumb child. She was not a dumb child. But like I say in like all the videos, no matter how smart a kid is, they're still a kid. No matter how smart and quick and, you know, real world knowledge a kid has, they're still a child. They're still a child. Even though she was still cooking this nigga to his face. That's hilarious.
Understanding how David may have thought he would attempt to dispose of any evidence related to the crime if he allegedly committed it, prosecutors had also found an ID card that belonged to Celeste in Santa Barbara County the day after they believe David had taken Celeste's life. Around that same time period, David had began doing interviews in promotion of his new album, which ties into prosecutors' theories that the motivation behind taking Celeste's life was in order to protect David's career.
It absolutely was. The fact that he took her life and then did a press run after, it lines up too well. All too well. You can't... His defense is looking at this timeline, no clue what to do. They're just like, fuck, dude. Dude had to go Dexter to take the lives of a 13 and still... I saw a comment on YouTube that is probably true, right? If he had just let her expose him, people would have forgotten about it in like a year. People would have forgotten about it in like a year. He could have still had a career. Would he have had some turbulence? Yes. But he would have still had a career. he would have just got exposed. You know how many niggas get exposed for this type of shit? Plenty of them. They still have careers. Are they as big as they were? No, but they still make money. He couldn't take accountability for the fact that he is a pedophile. So what did he do? I gotta get rid of the witness. Even though I made the entire world my witness.
David takes her life, disposes of evidence far away in Santa Barbara County, and then goes on to promote his music as if nothing happened. But simultaneously, David's defense team will use this to his advantage to say if he was really busy taking a child's life and driving cross-country to dispose of the evidence, how could he possibly also have the time and the emotional bandwidth to go on and do interviews and discuss something as lighthearted as his music career?
Because he's a sociopath. That's how he can do it. I can't even believe. I can't believe they didn't do it. But I hope to God they don't use that as a defense. How did he do this and then go to talk about his music? Because he's a sociopath. You're right. No normal person can do that. We're not talking about a normal person. We're talking about someone who chopped up a child. That's not a normal person. So let's stop talking like he's a normal person. Okay? This is someone who groomed and mutilated a child. Why wouldn't he be able to go talk about his music career? Sonny, I'm glad you returned.
Well, that's where the next witness in the preliminary hearing comes into play.
Someone from the California Highway Patrol testified, right? Can you tell us who that person was and what they testified to?
This guy is so annoying looking, but
so
he's a
this
great,
was interesting
newscaster.
for me personally, Jesse. It was a CHP officer, California Highway Patrol. He's assigned to the Santa Barbara area. As soon as he walked in and they said that, I thought, oh, here we go. This is going to be the piece of testimony during prelim related to Lake Cachuma up in Santa Barbara County. So I love that area. I love Santa Barbara. I actually took a road trip up there a couple of weeks ago, back in June, because I wanted to check out statements that a Caltrans worker back in January apparently found Celeste's ID up there. And prosecutors have been alleging that David took a trip up there the day after Celeste was allegedly stabbed and left to bleed to death. He allegedly drove up there in his own car to dispose of the evidence. So this morning, the CHP officer testified that he was called to the scene after that Caltrans worker found the passport card. We actually saw a photo of that passport card. We saw a photo of exactly where, just off the roadway.
They found something else. They found something else there as well. They had to have. I'm not saying that for like, oh, I know because of this. They had to have. There's no way that the Caltrans worker saw that this ID was of a missing person and then just called the cops. No. There had to have been more evidence, and that's what they're letting out. Because if you find somebody's passport, you find their ID, you just take it to like a post office or put it in a mailbox or some shit, you know? You don't call the cops. You don't call the cops. Something else was found with the ID. It had to have been, right? There's something else. No, that's not enough reason. That's not enough reason.
It was reportedly found, and then we heard some back and forth where defense attorneys cross-examined him and asked, was there any traffic control? Do you know if it was found face up or face down? Was it buried under anything? Did it just rain a day or two ago? So there are questions about how exactly.
Their questions don't make any fucking sense. The defense makes no sense. I said grasping at straws earlier. This is worse than grasping at straws. This is like I said, hugging crumbs. This is even worse.
It ended up there, but it was very interesting to hear from a witness who was actually called to that scene after I drove up there myself because I was curious about where, off the roadway, how close to the lake this could have happened.
And the defense is questioning exactly how that passport card would have gotten there, that there were maybe other means other than David allegedly tossing it?
Absolutely. It sounds like they're setting up an argument where they could say that it was washed over there, by rainwater. It did just rain, I think, a day or two before it was found by that Caltrans worker beginning of January of this year. So this is months after the body was found last September. And this is more than half a year after she died last April. So there are a lot of questions about how it ended up there. I imagine the prosecution later on, they're going to share evidence about the drive up there because they are alleging that David took that.
Rain in California isn't that rare? I think it is. I literally live on the other side of the country, so I'm not sure. But you don't hear about it raining too much in California. Like, is that a thing? You don't hear about that. There were droughts and shit out there and whatnot, so damn, they're really grasping at straws, huh?
That trip in
Sonny,
his own car.
Yeah, you know.
I don't believe the remains of Celeste were in that front trunk just yet. Again, this was April 24th, so that would have been the day after the alleged stabbing. And then later that day, this was wild. Jesse, we haven't talked about this yet in court during the preliminary hearing, but I know you read this in the initial documents. That same day of the Santa Barbara road trip, April 24th, David went back home and then taped an interview promoting his album that came out the next day.
That is what's going to put the nail in his fucking coffin. All the evidence, right? The evidence of him grooming, the evidence of him tricking on a child, everything. Oh, DJ Holloway, have good days, have good early mornings, and make sure your family knows you love them. This has been Pineapple from Broke House Radio, wishing you a happy departure and a good future sunrise. That is going to be his demise 100%. Like, you can't try and fight special circumstance or murder for financial gain when right after that happened, you recorded an interview for an album. This is movie shit. This, like, he wasn't lying when he said this is like a movie. It is like a movie. You committed a film level heinous act. I'm not gonna lie. As a writer, this would make an amazing film. Would it be sick? Yes. Would it be demented? Yes. Would it be twisted as fuck? Yes. But this, you can't write something better than this. You can't. Like, this is the world showing you that art happens in real life too. This man getting caught doing all of these things in the order that he did with all of the evidence behind it. That is true art. Whale Talk, welcome to Broke House Radio. I'm your host, Pineapple, your host, the most smoke. And today, we have a much different Roger to tell go home, and his name is David.
And I wonder if the the prosecution...
All this for a kid who was stunting on his stupid ass. I want to go over the text just because she was funny. Like, just because she was funny at making fun of him. Just because of that shit. The texts were a little, like, humorous. Not all of them, obviously, but, like the shit that she was, like, roasting him about, like, that was funny. Like, those parts were, like, funny as fuck. How much a dumbass spend on it.
You will say, my gosh, look at what he's doing, right? Pretty sick. The defense could say, if he really...
There's not one piece of hair on his face. There's not one piece of hair anywhere on his face. This is a red flag in itself, in case you didn't know. A man having absolutely no facial hair as an adult, giant red flag.
Brutally killed someone. He's going to do an interview right after? I mean, is that what we're expected to believe? I wonder if that's where they're going to go.
Now remember, on day one of the preliminary hearing, prosecutors showed the judge a bunch of images of evidence they gathered within David's house. Chainsaws, knives, an inflatable pool. Well, on day 3 of the preliminary hearing, they called a criminologist to the stand who did forensic evidence related to that inflatable pool and how it might have tied it into Celeste's life being taken away.
We heard from another criminalist from LAPD. She did the actual forensic analysis of the inflatable pool, in addition to material that was sent to her by the LA County Medical Examiner's Office that was collected during the victim's autopsy. Now, that includes, I mentioned, her soiled clothing and bits of blue plastic found during the autopsy that were essentially embedded in her remains. So this criminalist actually pieced those bits of blue plastic in with the rest of the inflatable pool that she processed and analyzed, including work that was done under a microscope. And there were exhibits shown during court today, photos of how those pieces from the autopsy fit in like a puzzle with the rest of that blue inflatable pool. So there was a bit of back and forth. The prosecutor spent quite a bit of time questioning this witness, Lisa Lehendro from LAPD, about her background, her expertise, how she did this work, and what it showed. They described the linear cuts in the pool, exactly where in the pool she noted them. There were 4 different.
He tried to dismember her in the pool. If it was with a chainsaw, he had the chainsaw pointed down. I demonstrated this earlier, and it was probably hitting the concrete, and he really thought that he was gonna get away with this. He thought he had so much money that I can't get caught for this. I'm a millionaire now. I'm a millionaire.
Areas of damage, what she found on the underside of the pool, and how this all fits in with the larger picture that's being painted, which is that Celeste may have been dismembered in this pool.
Yeah.
Now, this hearing only gets more horrifying, and what's heartbreaking to know is that Celeste...
The one black
this
fan.
hearing only gets more horrifying, and
Look. He had one black fan. He had one black fan. Yes, a token. For sure. Industry plant.
What's heartbreaking to know is that Celeste's family had been sitting through all of the evidence being displayed over the last 3 days. Her parents had to look as prosecutors displayed images of their daughter with a completely dismembered body months after her life was possibly taken. They had to look at photos of the clothing she wore in her final moments. They had to look at the very suspect sitting there in handcuffs and an orange jumpsuit as they watch how prosecutors believe their daughter's life was taken.
I can't believe they're back in the courtroom today. You know, they sat through all of day 1 of this preliminary hearing, all of day 2. They want.
He wasn't for us. He was for the white kids on TikTok. David was not for anybody of age, for real. Not being funny. Like that there was no joke in that voice. There was no shake in there. He was not for anybody of age. He was not for adults to listen to. He was for the young emo kids. Interscope knew what they did. Like, industry plant of questionable gender. That's fucking funny. But no, Interscope knew exactly what they did. They knew exactly who they had. They knew what they were doing. I will never budge on that. He was not for anyone of our demographic. No one over the age of like 23 knew who this nigga was. I'm telling you.
Walked in a little bit
For
later
real.
this morning.
I mean, he might have had like he had a feature on the song. Like, you know, people probably like knew from like heard the song from TikTok, but nobody really knew who the fuck he was. That's a young thing. That's a scrolling thing.
They didn't show up until about 10:30, but they did catch all of this testimony from Lisa Lehendro. They did sit in the courtroom and see these exhibits, these photos of what their daughter was wearing when her remains were found. They did see the little bits of hair and plastic that were collected during her autopsy and how those bits of plastic fit with damage from this blue inflatable pool. I didn't see any kind of visible physical reaction. You know, on day one, Mercedes, the victim's mother, she bowed her head and just started crying when we saw the photos and the contents of those cadaver bags found in the defendant's Tesla. This morning, I didn't see her react. It's like she was frozen as we saw. It was apparent.
You expect her mother to be normal after this? After the first day, she's probably numb as fuck. Probably numb as all hell.
Skechers brand socks, her daughter's underwear, her leggings that were cut into pieces. And that's because her legs were allegedly cut off at the kneecaps.
Now, what's also completely insane is the fact that prosecutors have basically proven through the body cam footage of police going and searching David's home in February of 2024, one of the first times that Celeste went missing, that David himself admitted that he knew who Celeste was. He thought she was 18. He was later told she was actually 13. They met online on Discord. He had some sort of friendship or relationship with her. With that being the case, and with David now being in the courtroom, shackled up, orange jumpsuit, sitting there day in and day out as prosecutors present all of this evidence showing that this very child who David had confirmed to have known and had a relationship with passed away in the front trunk of a car that belonged to him.
This was the crib he grew up in. But I'm supposed to believe that he had any sort of... I'm sorry, he didn't have any sort of arrested development. Look at his bedroom.
To have known and had a
look at the place where he spends most of his time.
Relationship with. Past.
This is a nice home. Just coddled. Just kept from society. For what reasons? Not good ones.
Away in the front trunk of a car that belonged to him, dismembered, her body completely torn up into pieces. You would think at the very least, if David was an innocent man in all this and had basic human emotion, his body would freeze up. His face would look undoubtedly...
Looks like Leland's bedroom, like the bedroom that had the superheroes painted on the wall. Nice room, right? Maybe a correlation between those two things.
Devastated when all this evidence was shown in court. But no, reporters claimed that David's face was completely numb. He was expressionless. Evidence is being displayed of this child that David admitted to knowing, having a friendship with, being chopped up. And he's sitting there looking at all these photos without a single emotion being displayed.
He is unshaven. He does not look like he's sleeping well behind bars. His hair is grown out, and he's got that orange jumpsuit on. He's not wearing street clothing. So it looks like a different person, but I have observed this defendant enough to know that he's got that on-off switch. He can turn on the charm when he feels like it. I've noted his interactions with the judge and with his own legal team. He can be very charming. And the fact that he's really not emoting at all, you know, when we're hearing about autopsy details, when we're hearing about the state of decomposition, when we're seeing photos of the victim's remains in cadaver bags found in his car. You know, I got to parrot what Mona said, the courtroom sketch artist. He really is off on another plane.
What's even more strange is that as authorities were searching through David's home after finding Celeste's body, not only did they find the chainsaws, the burn cages, the pool, but they also found jugs of fake blood in David's garage.
Jugs of fake blood found in David's house. What was that all about?
So one of the LAPD criminalists who took the stand.
I think it was for his merch. I think it was for him making clothes with the shirts and shit. Or he was gonna use that to taint the real blood. That's my theory.
To testify, it came out during her testimony that during their search of David's garage, about a week after the car was found with the victim's remains in the front trunk, they found jugs of red liquid in his garage. So obviously they went ahead and they tested it, came back negative for blood. Turns out it was fake blood, and it was being used for music merchandise that was being created in his garage. When I heard that, I thought back to some of the background research that I did before these hearings started. I watched his music videos, I watched his interviews, I looked up concert photos, I looked up his biography, and I was struck at the time by music videos, a couple of David's hits actually, where he's wearing what looks like a white t-shirt stained with fake blood. So I'm wondering if that was in fact the merchandise that was being created in his garage. And I'm wondering, too, if that might set up a narrative for the defense to argue that certain suspicious items, right, like burn cages, chainsaws, fireproof mats, if that might have actually been there in his home for a music video or merch.
I appreciate the defense for trying, but if they play that card, that's going to fall so flat. What do you need a chainsaw for a music video for, bro? I know your music video is fucked up, but you don't think people have gotten convicted for less. You're telling me that, oh yeah, I just had this chainsaw, and you know, this child who I was grooming just so happened to be chopped up with a chainsaw. They're not related or anything. Don't think they're related. Also, the blue pool, that pieces of plastic were found in their body, that was not related either. Burn cage, not related. The funerals at my concerts, not related. Me doing interviews and dropping an album a day later after, you know, the suspected murder, not related. Come on. Like, what are we doing?
Merchandise.
During the third day of the preliminary hearing, the private investigator Steve Fisher was actually ordered to leave the courtroom by the prosecutor. This was for a number of reasons. Number one, Steve Fisher was actually one of the grand jury witnesses over the months before David was arrested. And he had allegedly also spoke to Patrick
If it was for a video, it would have been at the studio. That's 100% correct, Sonny.
Steinfeld, who is the attorney for the family of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, in the lobby during the hearing. Steve Fisher was hired by the owner of the home that David was staying in before he got arrested, and he's been looking into the case for a while and actually did an interview with the creator Gideon and revealed some very interesting information on his findings, mainly the fact that from what he's investigated, Celeste's parents and family had known for a while that she would run off and stay with David, that she had some sort of relationship or friendship at the very least with David, which makes this case that much more disturbing.
Do you think the family is as quiet as they are because they knew who David was and they knew who she was going to, and you don't really see too much of an intervention between them?
I mean, yes, I have proof that family members have been to that rental house before. I've been with David and Celeste.
Wait, her family has been to his house?
Using the word family way too loosely, okay? A young kid's cousin, a young kid's sibling is probably gonna try and keep. It's probably gonna try and keep a secret. Also, parents knowing who their kid is running off to, and being able to do something about them running off are two different things. Let's not twist that. Okay?
Family members. Listen, one of the first things I put down in this case was a build. We know that David and Celeste were at Six Flags on a certain date, and we found a Build-A-Bear certificate from the Build-A-Bear place in Six Flags in her cousin's name at the house. You know, and so it's like, wait a minute. So she wasn't really missing. You know what? You want to know, in my opinion, what the missing persons report was about? It was to cover their ass so CPS didn't come in and say, "Hey, she's not."
Steve Fisher, you're kind of a dickhead, homie. Steve Fisher, you're kind of a dickhead, dog. I think it was to cover their ass. I think it was because their kid was missing. I think it was because their kid was actually missing.
She's not going to school. What's up? If she's a missing person, you say she's not going to the school because she's a missing person. You know, then you don't have CPS in your life at that moment. You know. Listen, I sympathize. I know that they are. I know that they're grieving. I know they lost a daughter, but goddamn, like you could. She shouldn't have been allowed to be. She was gone a year and a half, man. A year and a half. Like somebody should have said, you know, maybe we shouldn't be letting Celeste live her own life like this.
Now, this is so incredibly sad to think about for a multitude of reasons. Number one, David was a shy, homeschool kid with not many friends as he grew up. He quickly launched into superstardom at a very young age and went from having nothing to everything at the snap.
Nothing to everything? Are we going to talk about the fact? Are we not going to look at how his parents raised him? From nothing to everything? He went from having a lot to having everything. Don't try and... I don't like that he's trying to paint him as, he's this poor kid who's got a record deal. No, he only started making music so he could put them behind his Fortnite videos. It wasn't like he was trying to make a way out. Like this was his last option. This was his way out the Texas suburbs. No. He had money. He just started making music to put behind his stupid ass. Oh, no.
Snap of a fingers. He befriended a child while he himself was 18 years old, obviously had a very demented sense of what a healthy relationship should look like, inappropriately engaged with a minor, and used his power to cover up the entire thing. If what the evidence presented is true, David was the golden goose. He was earning millions of dollars for a multitude of different people. He was flying a child to London simply because he had the financial resources to do so, and people around him who were incentivized to cover up his mess for financial gain. And when it's all said and done, and that young child lost her life, whether or not it was David who committed the crime, all parties involved believed that his power, influence, and finances would be enough to absolve him from the consequences and wipe her memory off the face of this earth. Let's just pray that her family can get the justice they so rightfully deserve.
No, that's not what I'm saying. No, go back. Okay. And we will make sure that happens with covering this case a lot more. This was a fun video to do, but a hard video to go over. And I think we're probably going to do more of this. I think we are. This is an insane case, and I want to see it to the end. I can't wait for the trial. I really can't. This man needs to be. I can't say what needs to be done to him, because then I'll probably get flagged. So 3.5 hours with an hour beforehand. I think I'm gonna call it, and I'm gonna say have good days and have good nights. Make sure your family knows you love them. This has been Pineapple from Broke House Radio. 4:36 a.m. 3 hours. I think I've been on for like 5 hours total tonight. That's pretty good if you ask me. 3.5 hours on one single video. Yeah, that was fun as fuck. I'm gonna get something to eat. I'm starving. I'll see you guys tomorrow. What's the topic? I don't know. I'll pick it. I have all week. I have the whole week lined up. So I'm hungry. I will see you all. Have a wonderful morning / evening / wherever you're watching this from. Goodbye. I am starving.